to the B. But me, your man Louie T, here, back with our girl Candi Waller from Bowie TV on CWall Wednesdays. How are you doing first and foremost before we get to any football talk? How was your Thanksgiving weekend?
Thanksgiving was good. I ate way too much. We had all of the things, and as always, it's like,
Guilty as
who are we,
charged.
who are we cooking for?
Mhm,
How many people are coming? Like, what are
mhm.
we doing?
Right.
Yeah, it
I
was
still was eating on
chaotic.
Thanksgiving food today. Today was the last day. I am done now
Wow, you
officially.
you took it a whole week.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I wasn't playing any games. So I finally wrapped up the Thanksgiving food today, but all in all, it was a great holiday. It was a good break. Nice chance to hit the reset button, decompress.
Mhm.
Hopefully, it was that for you as well.
Definitely, definitely. And Louis, you were on point last week. I was not. I had the times all mixed up of when we were supposed to do the show. So thank you. Always got to say things publicly, like, "Hey, I'm sorry about that, but thank you for your patience." I was like, "Wait, I thought it was 8:30," and you clearly said 8. You were very clear, but I was doing a lot.
It's
So
all good. Last week was so hectic. I don't know, like that wasn't nothing but God anyway. Because honestly, had we done the show, I don't think I would have been able to finish all the stuff that I had to do from a cooking standpoint anyway. So it probably was for the best anyhow. So everything happens for a reason. I'm glad we were able to get back together this week because, as you said last week, we would have more to talk about. And you were right. We do have a lot more to discuss. We haven't spoken since the Detroit game, I believe it was, right before the Detroit game. So there's a lot that is kind of taken place since then. They went to Madrid. They had a bye week. They've come back. They've had a really strong showing, albeit a loss versus the Denver Broncos. Rumors are swirling about specific players and when they end up here. So Terry McLaurin's back, and he had a massive impact. So much to discuss. So I want to go back first, and we'll work our way to present day to Madrid. You went to Madrid. The team had a game. How was that overall experience for you? And then the team itself, what did you see there? Did you see, because that was DQ's first game as the play caller defensively. We saw the team play better. Obviously, the end result was still not what they had intended it to be. But overall, better product. The first time they had had a lead in over a month, which to say that out loud is crazy. It was the first game they didn't lose by more than 21 points, that game against the Dolphins in week 12. So just talk to me about that whole experience and the outcome of that game, and then we can work our way up to the following week.
Yeah, definitely. So in Madrid, Miami was the home team. So their fans absolutely showed up and showed out. They're very nice people from what I could tell, and whom I talked with. The media hotel was like also a Dolphins fan hotel, which was interesting. But the Commanders fans showed up and showed out as well. You're always going to see, this is my second international game, so you're always going to see a different jerseys,
Yes, all over the place, yeah.
But it was definitely like Dolphins fans and definitely Commanders fans. And so the energy was there. The energy was right. The optimism was there. The stadium itself is beautiful. It is gorgeous.
That looked like the best. That looked like the best international stadium and surface that the NFL has played on, no matter, irregardless of Germany, England, Brazil. That by far and away looked like the best playing surface and just the aesthetically the best stadium. It looked like a Super Bowl, to be honest with you, on television. That's what the presentation looked like.
Yep.
Did you guys get that feel?
Yes, absolutely. It's beautiful. I was like, wow. And always for me, I always look at some of, my media colleagues who may have done, I've done some Super Bowls, but they've done more Super Bowls than myself. Or like, spoiler alert, I know we're going to get there. Like, this will be my first time going to US Bank Stadium. Others have been there multiple times now for either a Super Bowl or a game or what have you. This will be my first time. So it's always that comparison of this stadium or that stadium or what have you. It was gorgeous. By far. And others were saying that too. To your point, NFL media folks who have been to, most of the international games or kind of was doing their thing. They worked the international games. They were like, this is amazing. And so what I will say is when I was kind of taking it all in that morning, and I mean, of course, it's, there's Jaden posters everywhere. There's Bobby Wagner posters everywhere. I was looking, I think I may have posted it at the screen post, like the big screen posters. I'm like, wow, if somebody would have told me back during the summer that this poster would have been up and there would be no Jaden or Terry on it because it was only the players that were playing, I would have been like, please get out of my face.
Right.
But there we were without
the fact that like one of the main posters there was a Jeremy Reeves poster, and then there was that's crazy to me. Seeing like a Frankie Louvu poster, no disrespect to those guys, but having those be the main posters because your best players aren't available was just mind-boggling. Seeing some,
that was something. I mean, Frankie had a big poster, a big old poster. So and so inside it was like, the Dolphins players, the Commanders players, and I was like, this is wild. I cannot believe they're not playing today. But all right. So then moving into the game, defense, that was all, I would never say I'm going to guarantee a win or I think they're absolutely going to win. Never going to say that's just because that's just not me. But what I could promise and felt very strongly about is that you will see a difference on defense. Yeah. You'll absolutely see a difference on defense.
And we did.
Everybody did.
We did.
I think it was one of those things where you can see how they were lined up and where they were. But then once the play was executed, it was disguised. And that would be my issue in previous weeks where I would see what I believe was going to happen. And that would be like, I know this is not what you're about to do. And then
that's exactly what they do. Yeah.
Exactly what you did. And I'm like, okay, that didn't happen. I was even shocked. Right? Like,
we saw a corner blitz. I don't know if I've seen a corner blitz in like 7 years here watching.
Yeah,
didn't even know we could do that.
Wild. You know what I mean? But it was like this, and here we are. Like, but it's one of those moments where it makes, for me, it's like, this is why I asked this question 5 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. Like all the coulda, woulda, shouldas really start to set in. But that's another topic. We can talk about that later too. But the vibes were there. And another thing that I felt like I could guarantee, at least with the defense, is hey, Dan Quinn he's a better play caller. He's just a better defensive play caller. Period. Sometimes you just gotta, who's the best person for the job? Just who is the best person for the job? That's who should get the job. That's who should do the job. And so you saw that. And it's also, let's be clear about it as well. DQ has a different relationship with these guys. So you could see that they were absolutely the effort. They're playing for a different reason. And because of his not his attitude in a negative way, just in terms of his personality. I'm talking about DQ here. In between, plays, not even serious, in between plays, I saw him often going back to Frankie, talking to Frankie or saying something to Frankie or talking to, to Mikey. He was actively engaged every single play, like every single one. And you saw the fourth down, goal line stances, all the things. And as much as Bobby Wagner gets dragged out here at times,
he made a great play. It
was like, but he saw it. He saw it, right? That's where film study comes into play. Was when you see, he knew where they were going, right. And so, it's stuck now. What else has changed, right? Matt Gay is no longer the kicker, for the Washington Commanders, but that was also a moment of coulda, woulda, shouldas. We knew there was reason to at least bring in some competition after the first preseason game.
Yeah.
And after joint practices in New England, like, there was reason to bring in, but you just stood 10 toes down. And now it's like, but this was a problem that everybody saw the first weekend in August. You know, so it just, that game, though it was like, it was better, but you still didn't get to win. It reminded me a lot of the things that could have been corrected sooner.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like a little bittersweet. Like,
yeah. I mean, you hit on a lot of stuff, like DQ calling the plays, Matt Gay being replaced. You know, you saw a lot of changes to the lineup. He even benched Quan Martin at one point in that game. They were frustrated with him. You saw a lot more Jordan McGee in that game, which we had been clamoring for. Like, find a way to get this man on. We're not telling you to take Bobby off the field at his expense. Just find a way to get your best players on the field at this point. You're so banged up. Me and you talked about Frankie, you know, basically being a defensive lineman at times and then running with them in practice. Okay, put him on the defensive line so you can get Jordan McGee on the field a little bit more. And they did that in that game. There was so many things that, you know, like you said, maybe too little too late at this point. You know, it was definitely frustrating, but it was at least a sign of life in that.
It was a sign of life. I'm like, they're in there. I see them. I'm there the majority of my days of the week. And so I know while I'm not there all day long, you know, the media's not there all day long, I still there enough to be like, they're in there somewhere. And so we saw it. Like, see? Yeah. I know they're in there somewhere.
Right.
But it just, you know, just closing it out is just difficult. And I've gotten a little bit more information, you know, just insight into why that has been the case, other than, you know, they just haven't been a complete team, literally. Like, all at practice, all at the game. Like, it just hasn't been the case. And so offensively, I mean, because I'm going to be optimistic, but I'm still going to be critical at times, right? There were some things, you know, like on offense, where it was still like the run game. I see a lot of, you know, leverage and utilization of Chris Rodriguez and others in the first half. Second half, not so much. Right. Okay, why? Why is that? And I'm sure that's part of the plan, but why? You know, kind of like, why? Like,
it was working. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Make them stop it. Make them stop it. And they didn't. So it's, you know, it was one that got away. That was a game that got away. It was, you know, after the bye, you know, or during the bye, sort of the latter part of the bye, I did go through some of those, you know, the games. And Miami was definitely one that got away. That all things considered, the roster, everybody that they had, all the things, they should have won that football game. And could have, and did not. And I feel like did not, largely because of things they could have corrected sooner and did not. Right. So, I mean, when it went into overtime or whatever, I literally said to some of you all's favorite former players, so I said, if they got to rely on Matt Gay to win this football game, it's not going to happen.
It ain't happening.
It's not happening. It's not going to happen. And so it was like, you're so certain. Yes. Not happening. And this,
none of us had confidence in him at all whatsoever.
Not gonna happen, because my inside theory had been washed a long time ago.
Yeah. So, it always felt like I should specifically single out Adam Peters here, but I would assume that DQ had some say-so in this, but they wanted to be proven right here with Matt Gay because they spent the most money for a 1-year contract, most guaranteed money spent on a kicker for a single year of service. And so they wanted him to pan out, because we've seen how quickly they will jump ship on a kicker who was not successful. They did it with Cade York last year after week 1 because they had a 7th round pick attached to him. And if he was still on the roster after week 1, then they would lose that 7th round pick to Cleveland. They got rid of him after week 1 when he missed 2 kicks. They could have easily done the same thing with Matt Gay, but they had an investment in Matt Gay. And they didn't want to move on from him until they felt like there was no salvaging the situation. And that missed kick cost them the game. And that was basically the last straw that broke the camel's back at that point. They knew they had to do something. And I felt like that was the silver lining in that game, if there is one. It forced their hand to do something that they really didn't want to do, which was move on from Matt Gay. Because had he made that kick, he had already missed one earlier.
He had already missed one.
Yeah. And had he made that kick, he would still be here in Washington.
For sure. Yeah, because he makes that kick, they win the football game.
Right.
In regulation. So, yeah. At this point, it's like, okay, gotta go.
It would have delayed the inevitable because he would have missed more kicks this season. And so I'm just glad it happened when it did. I hate that it cost them a game. But the larger picture, the bigger picture is he needed to go. He was a liability. So I was glad that it finally happened. So that game happened. There was a lot of conversation. I want to get your opinion on this. Over the bye week, the whole Brandon Aiyuk situation really started to gain traction. Obviously, I know you don't know all the ins and outs of it because he's in San Francisco, but it does feel like the 49ers have taken the first steps to getting rid of Brandon Aiyuk. It feels like a real thing that can take place this offseason. In the event that happens, how realistic is it for us to believe that Brandon Aiyuk is a Washington Commander next season?
I think it's pretty realistic.
You see the relationship between, obviously, he and Jaden. I don't know if that means anything or not. They're not going to make a move based off of him being Jaden's best friend. However, Brandon Aiyuk clearly wants to be here. There's a relationship between him and Adam Peters. I don't know how good or strong of a relationship it is, but there's one there nonetheless. And one would be okay to assume that there's some sort of mutual interest should a release happen. If, let's just play a hypothetical here for a second. If a release happens and there is mutual interest, does a Brandon Aiyuk signing signal the end of Deebo Samuel's time here in Washington? Is there any scenario in which both of them could be Commanders next year, in your mind?
Yes.
So so you talk to Deebo all the time, and I don't know if you've ever had this come up in conversation. I doubt that you guys are going like big picture when conversations are being had, but I would assume Deebo's looking for a multi-year contract in the offseason. Is it tough to get, because you've signed Terry to a multi-year deal? He's 30 already. Deebo, if he's not 30, is turning 30. So that's 2 30-year-old receivers on multi-year deals. And then you would be bringing in Brandon Aiyuk, who's younger, but you haven't seen him play football since week 7 of 2024.
Right.
So you don't want to give him a multi-year contract, not knowing what exactly he is coming off of the injury. So you would assume that would be a 1-year deal. Could you see the Commanders investing that kind of money into the receiver position with 2 receivers that are 30 years old or older, and a receiver coming off of major surgery that you haven't seen play football in over a year and a half?
I could, simply because of the way this season is going, has gone. Because this is a slump. This is pretty bad. I mean, big picture, it is bad, right? From where they were, where everybody knew they were going, or what they said they were going to do, and what it really is in real life. So there might be some swings, there might be some moves for sure, right? Because nobody expected this.
Yeah.
At all. At all. Like nobody saw this coming at all. Anybody who says they did, I don't believe it. Not true.
Right.
I mean, and I think we all accepted that they could win less games.
Right.
Than last year, just simply because of the schedule.
Right.
But 3 wins.
7 straight losses?
No, ain't nobody called that. No. They say they do. I'm like, that's you lying, not telling
right.
The truth. So at this point, in a season going better, no. In a season going the way that it is, and could potentially continue this way, yeah, I could see it. Right? I mean, it'd be interesting to see how Adam Peters and his staff works the money. You know what I mean? You see how they carrying the one out here, but I think, I asked Coach Quinn about Deebo the other week, or maybe just last week, I don't know, because of these conversations and because of what he has brought to the team in a position group that you really don't know who's playing each week.
Right.
You do not, due to the injuries.
Right.
I mean, in another world, in my mind, I was like, well, hey, you could go Terry, Deebo, Traylon, Luke, and Jalen.
Would you be comfortable with that, though?
I probably would. But I probably would. But at the same time,
you got to add. I think there would have to be one more guy in there.
Exactly. That's also comfortable. It'll be okay, but is it really what you want to make an impact? No, you need somebody else. You need somebody else for sure. You need somebody else. It wouldn't bother me, but
yeah. I mean, if you were completely healthy, if you could guarantee health, that would be fine.
You could guarantee health. But this season, what does everybody learn? You cannot.
Right.
So at all. Yeah. And so, yeah, they're absolutely. I would envision a world where Brandon Aiyuk could absolutely be a Washington Commander. He could.
I think it's a realistic possibility. I wonder if Deebo's final 5 games, how much that weighs into the decision-making process of bringing him back. And then, what's the mindset of AP, and then what's the mindset of Deebo? What is AP willing to do? How much is he willing to spend? How much is Deebo willing to take? What number makes him feel like he's, getting a win on his end? How many years is he looking for? Guaranteed money, all of that. I think all of those things play into, I think there's mutual interest on both sides of wanting to reunite here and run it back. But I also think that Adam Peters has shown us that there's a number, and he's not willing to go 1 cent over that number, whatever that number is.
He's tough.
Yeah. And if Deebo, we've seen it. Part of his toughness got us in this predicament that we were in this season. Okay. Him and Terry.
It's on my list because yes, I agree.
And then seeing what Terry did, and we're going to get to Sunday's game, but it just reinforces what could have been this season had we not had the shenanigans this offseason. Terry had been in here all summer like he should have been, gotten that deal done in the offseason like it should have gotten done. I don't think you have all of the injuries that Terry has suffered this year, and this offense is a light years better than what it's been this season. The impact of a number 1 receiver can never be understated in my mind, and I think we kind of saw that on Sunday against the Broncos.
I want to go back to 17 in a moment because I've been calling him 17 all day. I spent some time with him today. And I spent some time with Deebo, like you said earlier. I often do now.
Yep.
I don't know if I told this story on the show. Kansas City game, and stop me if I did. Kansas City game, Deebo turnover.
Yep.
They're moving the ball. I mean, they're moving.
Yep. Opening drive of the game.
Opening drive of the game. And they're looking a lot like who we know them to be.
Right.
Comfortable. They rolling.
Terry's first game back from the first injury. Yeah.
That's right. Terry's first game back. They're moving the ball. Deebo turnover. I kept looking up at the broadcast to see, because during all that, Laramie gets hurt. So I'm looking at the sideline. Deebo Samuel is losing his mind.
Yeah, you told this story, but tell it again. Tell it again.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I told it here or not. I mean, he had lost it. Lost it. And then I'm like, wait, hold on. Can he stop losing it? Laramie's going in the medical tent. What happened to Laramie? Oh my God, Deebo is launching. Like now, I'm like, he's lost out. He's lost it. His teammates had to calm him down. Broadcast never caught it. Because that would have been good. Like that would have been some hard knock stuff. If somebody would have seen, I'm like, that's some good TV content right there. And
then I think you said he was by himself, and he's usually not secluded that way away from his teammates. He was like way off by himself.
They had to calm him down. They had to calm him down. Then he had to walk it off.
Right.
And I talked to him later about it. Like, I'm gonna wait till we all get back to Ashburn to talk to him about this.
Right. When he cooled off.
That moment, I said, he might need to be here for the long haul. He might need to stick around, because he was so upset. And when I talked to him about it, he absolutely, you saw that? You saw me. And he just was, it was like he was getting upset all over again. I'm like, calm down. It happened on Monday. Okay, it's Thursday. Calm down now. And he was like, no, my teammates, we knew what we were doing. I know. He said, I put that game, he says that turnover doesn't happen. We score. We win that football game. It's literally what he said to me.
That's how he felt.
That is how he felt. And I said, you really think, and I said, and I'm not trying to say this being facetious, like being like a jerk. Like, you really think y'all was going to win that football game? If you not in that way, he said, I know, because I'm starting to understand how you communicate. He said, yes, I know what you mean. And yes, that was my fault. He had to go around and apologize to everybody. I had to apologize to Coach. Hey, man, I pay attention to stuff like that.
Yeah.
I do. Because there's a multitude of reasons why they could have lost, but he just felt it in that it was his fault. They were moving, and once you get down, it's hard to get back right. It's just difficult to get back right. And he went through all the reasons why he thought that was the problem. And it started with his turnover, and it was his fault. And he walked me through it, and I was like, I'm learning a lot about Deebo right now.
Yeah.
So
and I could respect that, because the way that game went, if you get off to that start, we didn't know, and who knows if they still produce those 2 straight interceptions.
Exactly.
But you get up 7-0, it changes everything. And if those 2 interceptions still happen, who knows if we're able to jump on top of Kansas City, and now we're the aggressors. We're playing from a position of power. Who knows what happens in that game? But obviously, we'll never know, because the interception happened. So
exactly. So, but that's exactly why he's like, that was my fault. And everything is so important. He was, we've talked before about it. It was a play in Chicago, when they played Chicago. I think when Luke was like super open or whatever, he was like, I had to block. That was my block. So we already knew Luke gonna be wide open. Like it was the energy he would have for Luke. Right, whenever Luke would do well, the whole wide receiver group, it would be the energy he had for Chris Moore, for Robbie Chosen, everybody, right? Because you got to remember, Terry wasn't there. And some of those Terry wasn't there. So at that point, in that position group, Deebo's the leader.
Yeah, he was the leader. Yep.
He's the leader. And he absolutely rose to that occasion. I saw how he would be with his teammates and vice versa. And I'm like, I don't know, he's hey. I see why his teammates love him. Even when Ja'Cory got injured, I think it's public news. Ja'Cory got injured in practice the other day. He was like sitting right there. Deebo was the first one over there. He called the trainers over there. He saw him, and he was just. So that's why I'm like, those are the things I got to pay attention to, stuff like that. When you're building the culture, you're 2 years in and building the culture, you're still really trying to figure out what is a Washington Commander? What is the type? Who do you need? And let's be real clear. To your point, Sunday night, he and Terry absolutely was feeding off of each other.
Yeah. That's one of the things I felt like we deserved to see as fans, is what the pairing of Terry, Deebo, and Jaden all look like on the field together, with a real sample size. Like, those 2 weeks to start the season, to me, weren't a real sample size.
No.
You really want to see, hopefully in these final 5 games, I think it's going to be 4 when it's all said and done. Because I'll get to your opinion, but I don't think Jaden's going to play this week. I think they're going to take precaution and give him 1 more week and have him come back for the stretch run against the entire division. But we'll see. And I'll get your opinion on that a little bit later on. But I want to see, because I think part of bringing Deebo back is seeing how he meshes with Terry. And do they play well off of each other? Because in theory, on paper, it felt like this is a perfect match. Terry's a vertical field stretcher, a guy that can really work all 3 levels, but vertically, he threatens defenses. He opens things up. I don't think it's a coincidence that Terry hits the field and Zach Ertz has his best game of the season. I don't think that's a coincidence. We saw Deebo at the beginning of the season really have chemistry with Jaden, because that's who he was throwing the football to all summer long. So right out of the gates against the Giants, Deebo looks like all world, but it's because there's so much space, because Terry's out there. You still got to deal with Zach Ertz, and you kind of forget about Deebo Samuel. And I want to see if what we envisioned this being all summer, it could come to fruition on the field. We got a glimpse of it on Sunday night versus the Broncos. I still think there's more you can get out of Deebo, but it was good to see Terry back out there and then see Ertz doing the things that he did. And now I think you can still unlock more from Deebo. Yeah. And if that happens over this final, month and some change of the season, it'd be hard not to bring him back.
I don't get a vote, but if I did, I'd be like, let me help you figure out the numbers for people. Because and he was doing this, and he was the return guy, and he was you saw him go back.
Right. That's right.
So he was a return person. He was doing a lot at one point until he got the heel injury.
Yeah.
And I had to laugh to myself while you were talking, going back to that Chicago. Again, I've been learning a lot about him. And I think I may have shared this when I saw all that they were doing in pregame with Deebo. I said, oh my gosh, Deebo's not going to play. They are there. They got him they're watching him too long. Oh no.
You're talking about the Chicago game?
Yeah, the Chicago game. But he was hurt.
Yeah. He shouldn't have played that game. No. In retrospect, he shouldn't have played that game.
In retrospect, he was hurt. And I remember he and I had a little bit of joke about that later in the week. I got to get him later in the week, but stuff be going down. And he was like, what was I doing? Tell me what I look like out there. And I was like, you look like you were in pain. He said, I didn't feel nothing. I was just doing whatever so I could get through the warm-up so they can let me play. I said, they really weren't going to let you play, were they? He said, no, they weren't. He said, so I just had to act like, he said, I didn't even know what I was doing at one point. I just I got to play. Got to be with my teammates. We got to win this. Everything is I got to be with my teammates. We got to be with my teammates. I already got my plays. I know what I'm doing. I know where I need to be. I got to be out there with my teammates because if I don't go out there, then who's going to do it? He is very much like that. Yeah. So I'm telling you all that for a very good reason. I think he needs to be a Washington Commander.
It's going to be interesting to see because he stayed relatively healthy this year. And you would love to see that happen again, but you can't assume that that's going to be the case next year. You just want all these guys to be healthy, give them a chance to gel and mesh together. And think this final stretch of the season is going to go a long way in determining what they ultimately decide to do. And again, the money aspect can't be understated. That's going to go a long way in determining if he's back or not either. Let me ask you about Sunday night. So we let's kind of get to the game that just took place on Sunday night versus the Broncos. Terry returned to the lineup, and you saw the impact that he had, but also Treylon Burks returned to the lineup. And that was a shock to me personally, because when we heard he was having surgery on his hand, even though they told us it's a minor procedure, I don't term any surgery minor.
Minor surgery.
It's not minor to the person having it. I can assure you of that.
Right.
So I hear surgery, the word minor just goes out the window for me. I'm thinking he's going to miss at least a month in my mind, right? Which is why I'm like, you could IR, but there was a bye week in there, so maybe he doesn't need to be IR'd. He misses 3 games, something of that effect. Maybe 2 games minimum. He missed 1 game. And that was the game in Madrid versus the Dolphins. He came off the bye and he was back just like that. I'm shocked. They said he put a splint on it. You can see he tied it together. That was the hand he caught the football with, the one-handed catch, which is insane. What was the difference that you saw from this offense on Sunday with those receivers back in there? And then just give me your overall perspective on the offense alone. We'll talk about the team overall. We'll get into Hard Knocks. Have you had a chance to watch it? I assume you did. Yeah. We'll get into Hard Knocks here in a second. But give me your overall view of this offense and what you felt watching them on Sunday night. And what was some of your biggest takeaways? Because I got 2 really big takeaways, 3 if you count Terry, but I think that's an obvious one. 3 really big takeaways. What were Candi's biggest takeaways watching this offense on Sunday night?
Yeah, I think I had, going back to like Treylon Burks for a moment, because I had asked about Drake Jackson. So by the time we got to the locker room, everybody was at Drake's locker. Treylon was over there by himself. I said, I need to find out what happened to his finger. So he told me the story, what happened to his finger. I asked him, was he playing? He was like, yeah, I hope. And I was like, why? How? He showed me. I saw it with my own eyes. He said I could put it out there publicly what actually happened to his finger because he broke it in half. Didn't tell anybody. Played the whole rest of the game. Told people after, and they had to send him to immediate surgery. Yeah. Like, dude, you cannot be out here like this with your finger like this.
Right.
It's all real. And yes, he caught the ball that night.
You were the one that broke that story.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah. No one knew what actually happened until you put it out there.
I put it out there, and I asked him if I could. I said, "Are you? Can I tell this story out loud? Can I put it? Because depending on what it is, I ask people, they know. And so he said, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I said, okay, I'm about to tell because that's crazy. But it took us like a good 8 minutes to get through the conversation because I wasn't understanding what he was saying. Because I was like, what are you talking about? Is your finger broken?
Right. Like, what are you talking about? How do you finish a game with your finger broken in half?
Why are you here? Shouldn't you be? You shouldn't be here. But back to that's the dude that I saw. So going back to answer your question, like from an offense perspective, I saw the people that I covered last year. So then you take a Treylon and a Deebo who weren't here last year. And I said, they fit. they fit. People who it doesn't matter. I want to be out there with my teammates. I want to go out there and get it. I want to go out there and get it. And for a split second, everybody thought they did. Because I was very critical. I think I told you this. I could be very critical during the game. I can be so super. They could be winning. And I could be like, I got a question. What's wrong with it? Just missed a tackle. What are we doing? Like, I can be so critical and other times, and that's just to keep the balance
right
and objective. Like, need to clean that up, right? But that wide receiver group matters. A healthy wide receiver group. They've done the best that they could, with the injuries, the carousel, all that. And you can't help getting injured. But when they are hot, they hot.
Yep.
And Terry's one of the players on that team that's got the juice.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Juice. It is what it is. That's why I told him 17. Guess what? You got the juice. He just laughed. He's like, Candy, you and it's okay. Others got the juice too. Other people got the juice too. But it's something about Terry that when Terry starts tripping out. I remember last year, Chicago game, Hail Mary game, when Terry starts going off on the Bears DB. Remember they had some words?
Tyreek Stevenson.
Yep. Starts going off. And I think I asked Coach about that because everybody's and Terry said everybody's so used to Terry being quiet.
Right. You don't get to see him like that very often.
Terry is a goon. That's just his goon nature shows up like that. That is goon Terry. That's him. He was like, yep, that's that's goon Terry out there. That is goon Terry. And they love it. And they feel when that that's one of my takeaways from my offense. That offensive line. I have been posted. Have you thanked an offensive lineman today? So I spent some time with Terry. I spent some time with Tyler Biotish today. Okay. And I was waiting for the right time to really, because I've been talking to Josh Connolly a lot. I definitely talked to Laramie quite often. But I said, Tyler, come on. Please, you got time for me today? He was like, I got you. All right, okay. Yes, let's talk, please. Okay. They were good on Sunday night. Oh my goodness. They were great. And I kept saying, have you thanked an offensive lineman today? Because I'm like, wow. And when we talk about movement on the line, right? Hey, Chris Paul, wow.
Got to start giving him some credit, man. I kept thinking he was a mirage. Like, okay, he's a placeholder. This will be a competition next summer. Like Brandon Coleman's getting his spot back.
Nope. That's what lets me know they're still in there. They're all still in there. The coaching staff too, because they're making decisions. They're remember the competition every week, and whoever's the best person for the job and best people. That is a sign. Let that be the example of that's what they're doing. It doesn't look like it from a record perspective.
Right.
But that's
a great point, Candy. That's a really good point.
Yeah, like the way, and thank you for that. I mean, the way that this offensive line has progressed, nobody expected this season to go the way that it is. They played their behinds off. And as much heat as Josh Connolly Jr. was getting, you and I had that conversation. And I wasn't pleased about some narratives that were out there. I really was. Now look at him.
Yep.
Now look at him. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. Yep. And when you really look at, even with Sam Cosmi coming back.
Yep.
Before Dan Quinn could say it, I already said it. I said, now this right here, this is Sam Cosmi right here. This is his best game so far. But he came back from an ACL injury. Came back week 7. So there's even some gelling around that. So that's what I was talking to Tyler Biotish about. Just the, Chris, the difference on his left side, difference on his right side, difference in quarterbacks and all of that. But he was just reiterating how they practice
Mhm.
and how they just, you got to get ready because you don't, somebody could get hurt. Anything can happen. You just
Mhm.
got to be ready. But there's something to be said about it's a different person. So their tendencies might be a little different. The way they move, it's just human nature. It's just a
Yeah.
different human being next to you.
Right.
And so it's just, they were fantastic. And I definitely don't think enough is being discussed about that. I think JP Finlay made a tweet about Josh Connolly being the only offensive player who had taken every snap.
This season?
Offensive snaps, yes,
Yeah.
in game. Every snap, the rookie.
Yeah.
That everybody was dragging. Not everybody, because I know we weren't, but I'm just saying. Phenomenal. It was just, I just couldn't say enough about him. But it's those little things like that. You mentioned Zach Ertz earlier.
Mhm.
He did have 2 drops. Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
it hurt me.
Yeah.
It did.
So the one over the middle wasn't a drop as much as it was a great play by Alex Singleton, the middle linebacker.
He also made a great play. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't, the drop at the back of the end zone.
Yeah, now that's a drop. That one hurt. If
hurt.
that one, if they don't come back and get the touchdown to Terry, that one is the one you single out and you go, bro, we gotta have it, man.
But that was, but in that, see, that whole last offensive series was like, these are the dudes that everybody fell in love with last year because they didn't care. They were like, and I'm gonna throw it to you, and I'm gonna throw it back over here to you, and I'm gonna throw it over here to you. And on Hard Knocks, I guess you heard the whole Deebo thing, like, oh, I'm gonna run right by him.
Yep, exactly. Like, yo, just throw it to me. I'm gonna run the go route. I'm gonna go right by him. Right?
He said, I'm gonna go right by him. That's how he talks, literally.
And
they're very literal in how they communicate. I think that's how I get along with so many of them.
Yeah. it's crazy, Candi, that you bring that up, because the thing that I saw too on Sunday night that was so refreshing was the resilience of this team, the ability to overcome adversity in the game.
Mm-hmm.
This year, all it needed to be was a false start on 2nd and 7, and the drive is over.
Damn. Yep.
2nd and 12 turns into 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 12 that turns into a punt, right?
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't overcome any sort of adverse situation. Mm-hmm. They overcame every bit of adversity, from 6-0 to a bad Mariota interception that he threw, to you're down 13-7 to then you're down 20-14. The offense didn't score for basically a quarter, and the defense just kept them in the game. Interception, punts, just kept giving them a chance to hang around. Then that last drive, as you mentioned, you got a 2nd and 25, a 3rd and 25. You got the 4th down you convert to Zach Ertz. You then have the touchdown you think you have to Terry in overtime. Then you don't have it because it's a holding penalty on Josh Connolly. Okay, so what? Next play, we're going to get it all back, get right back down to the 1-yard line. You get a drop from Zach Ertz, right? And now it's 4th down. And what do? You just throw a strike to Terry on a beautifully executed play for the touchdown. And it's just like every time there was adversity, which is what we had come to expect from this team last year. Like, it didn't matter what the situation was offensively. We can pick it up. We can overcome it. And, another takeaway, you hit on a lot of them. Because to me, the offensive line, if they're going to play like that, the first thing I said after that game when I was bringing it down was that right there is a top 5 offensive line in the NFL type of performance.
Absolutely.
That's something you can build around.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you want to take away something from this season and say, okay, this is a building block. If they're going to play like that, that is something you can build around. Something else I took away from the game was that you gotta re-sign Marcus Mariota. You're not gonna find a better backup in a Cliff Kingsbury offense behind Jaden Daniels than Marcus Mariota. If you want to win a Super Bowl, if you have Super Bowl aspirations, you need a Marcus Mariota behind a Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
That was as DQ termed it, a warrior-like performance.
It did.
He left it all on the
did.
field on Sunday night.
He did.
That play where he got away from those 2 sacks and threw it to I think it was Jeremy McNichols who drew the pass interference on that 4th down.
Yeah,
like just to get away from those sacks, to even throw the football, to draw the penalty, that was his best play of the night.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was spectacular in the game.
He was, and it was because I was hard on him. I get hypocritical with that first that interception. I was like, because the press box is on that end. We saw him, and I said, Marcus, please don't throw. And then he threw. I said,
do it. That was a bad interception. And at least when he explained it after the game, I was like, okay, I see what you were trying to do. It just didn't feel like that's what he was trying to do, because he didn't get anything on it, but he jumped in the air. He got hit as he was throwing it. Like, just throw it out of bounds, Marcus. Golly, buddy.
Like, what is going on? But that's why I always laugh a bit to myself. Like, he and Jaden are so much alike. Like, like they, but it's like, as the game went on, what a performance.
Yeah.
And he was so heartbroken at the end of that game. Oh my God. It was the same thing in Madrid, but like Sunday night, it hurt. It hurt him. It hurt him.
Yeah. That's an iconic shot of him like scrunched over, bent down with his helmet off and his helmet on the ground, like jersey just as dirty as it could possibly be. And he's just sitting there like kind of dejected, like, I can't believe that was a perfectly executed play, but for that's an easy walk-in touchdown to Jeremy McNichols.
Yeah.
He's wide open in the flats. If he just gets that ball over Nick Bonito, it's the 2-point conversion.
I said, I know Nick Bonito got there fast, but dang, like it was right there.
Yeah.
If he could have dodged him somehow, or just, I don't know. Nick Bonito it was a hell of a play.
It was. You just gotta give credit where credit is due.
You gotta give credit where credit is due. It was a hell of a play.
Yeah.
And it's always like in your mind, it's like, duck, move.
Right.
Some of us was in the press conference room, and so I had made an announcement. I said, if I may, I'd like to make an announcement. Listen, you're not supposed to hearing him.
Not making an announcement in the press box.
I was in the press conference room. I had left the press boxes. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to take it. So I didn't do what I did in the Hail Mary game. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to take this. I'm just gonna watch it downstairs. And so I said, hey, listen. If you all would like to scream, no judgment here. All right, go ahead and scream, because it's worth a scream. Especially if they win. If they win, you all can scream. And I was like, and you want to know who you all is? That would probably be me. But I'm giving you all permission.
Yeah, because I'm probably gonna do it if it happens.
Right, because at this point, we all on the field. Everybody is on this field right now, because it's hard not to want them to win. It is hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's difficult not to just be like, thank you. Like,
and especially when you see them losing every week. And they just pile up, and you're just like, come on, man. But they just need one, right? They just need one.
Marcus's performance, and like you said, the Warrior performance, that offensive line. Terry, Deebo, Zach, the running backs, Chris Rodriguez. It's not like they're bad. You know what I mean? It's not like they're bad. Like, geez.
Not when you have Terry in the lineup. They're not
right. So
it changes everything.
Yeah, he just Terry's here. All right, everybody.
All right, let's get it going now.
But that's always something I go back to. Is the captains of the postseason. The captains of the postseason mean something. It meant something. The players voted for who they wanted to lead them to a Super Bowl. Jaden, Terry, Revo, Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz. The 5 of them. 2 of those 5 have not been there a good amount of the time. And that means something. Not even at practice. Terry wasn't there all summer. That means something. You gotta have. That's what I was talking to Terry about. Because I was asking him, like, "Hey, do you really gotta have all the pieces out there?" Then we just started talking, right? Yes, you do. to have the same vibe, to have the same feel. Those 5, it means something. It means something. And the honorary captain, Doug Williams, he means something to these guys a lot. And you just can't, you just can't take 1 and 2 away and think, oh, it's just gonna be the same.
Right.
Not right now, it's not.
Yeah.
and no, because they are different when those guys are there. They are. It gives them life, it gives them hope. And they play like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I was just so like, I think I caught a shot on TV when they were going into overtime, and I saw like Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury, like, let's get it. Like they were
Yeah.
like, I'm like, these
Yeah.
are the people that
Right.
we all fell in love with last year. Like they just don't even care. They like, yeah, let's go. We
Right.
about to smoke these dudes. And it's like fun. I saw them. I asked a few people today. I felt like I saw y'all having fun again.
Yeah.
You weren't too, like, you were serious because you got to be serious, but you weren't too serious. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you were like, let's do this. And it was right there. The Denver Broncos are no slouch. Now let me also go back to this real quick. I had that game circled on my calendar. And
Right. Yeah, I remember you said that was one of the games you were
Pat
looking forward to seeing.
He had Pat Surtain on the ropes.
Oh yeah, he did. We
Oh,
talked.
he
We
gave them
talked about
all.
us. We a number of us fans were talking about. He gave Pat Surtain some work. He gave him some
Yes,
work. He gave him some work,
he gave
and
him a hard
that was
time.
impressive for a guy. And I get Pat was coming back himself from
That's
an
right.
injury, but so was Terry. So was Terry. And Pat has played a lot more football this season than Terry has. And Terry was giving that entire secondary work. The Talanoa Hufanga was everywhere. Terry caught a slant, put his shoulder right on him, and bounced right off of him and ran for another 3-4 yards. Like that was the Terry. And another thing that was very apparent, and I always feel like Cliff is dangerous with an extra week of preparation, but that's the way you utilize a number 1 wide receiver, right? Terry had 14 targets. 7 catches, would have been 8, or it would have been 7 with over 100 yards if the Josh Connolly penalty doesn't take place, right? But Terry was everywhere. Terry lined up on the left. Terry lined up on the right. Terry was in the slot. They moved him around.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's so hard for them to replicate on a weekly basis. Why can't we do this every week with Terry? Because I bet you when Noah Brown comes back this week, fingers crossed, Terry's going to line up exclusively on the left again. Noah's going to be on the right again. Deebo's going to be the only guy that's moving around out there. But it's going to be Terry, you're on the left. Noah, you're on the right. And it doesn't have to be that way. It shouldn't be that way. You make it so much easier on the defense to account for Terry McLaurin, to take him away, to bracket him, to make it difficult for the quarterback to get him the football when you leave him on one side of the field. Move him around. They did that in this game, and he was damn near impossible to cover.
He was impossible to guard. We talked about that. He and I talked about that. We talked about that. And yeah. That that's right. He's impossible to guard when he's just moving around. It's okay. It's like be creative, but within reason. But to me, that's not necessarily being creative. You've done it before and it works.
Right. Exactly.
So just do what works. He's giving them a hell of a time.
Yeah.
He's having a very hard time. They're having a very hard. I kept saying that. I was like, they're having a very hard time guarding Terry now.
They were on the struggle bus. They had no answers for 17.
He laughed so hard. He was like, say it again. A very hard time. Very difficult.
Very difficult. Very difficult time.
And I was like, and I like Pat a lot. Everybody knows I like him. He was like, I do too. But he was like,
yeah, he was definitely giving them some work for sure.
He was giving him some work. And I'm like, but that's how you know, like, it's there. It just, when is it all going to come together at the same time?
Right.
And that health, those injuries threw them off big time. And like I said, I got other thoughts about other things that could have happened differently, of course, right? But I think like back to Hard Knocks when Coach, and I think Nikki asked Coach Quinn about it today when he was like, you know, you lost the game, but you're not lost anymore. Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
Like, these are the people, that's them.
Yeah.
But hey, they got one of their captains of the postseason. They got Terry back.
Yeah. Oh, he made a massive difference. He made a massive difference. So we're going to take a quick break, get a word from one of our sponsors, come back on the other side. And what we're going to do is we're going to attack the defensive side of the football. We're going to talk about DQ as the play caller, what you've seen from this defense, what you expect to see moving forward. I got a big question for you. You may not have the answer, but I want to know your opinion about DQ as the play caller. We'll get to Hard Knocks, and then we'll start to talk about this upcoming week's contest versus the Minnesota Vikings. Will Jaden play? Won't he play? Noah Brown, all of that and more. We'll come back on the other side and attack that. Let's get a word from our sponsor real quick. Sleeper. Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat in the games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. Use promo code LTN and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Sleeper. All right, so we're back, and we're here on CWall Wednesdays with Candi Waller of Bowie TV. Once again, thank you so much for carving out some time for us, Candi. Can't thank you enough. So we want to now shift to the other side of the football. And I guess we can also sprinkle in some special teams with their brand new place kicker who made 2 kicks, a pressure pack, albeit very close kicks. Doesn't matter. They were pressure pack kicks, especially the one at the very end that sent the game to overtime. So we can also dibble there and dabble in special teams. But defensively, second game of Dan Quinn as the defensive play caller. The defense, I felt like, so Denver is an interesting opponent because they're not a dynamic offense, right? And so they play a lot of these close games. They've won basically all of them, hence the 10-2 record now. But they've had a lot of struggles, rock fights with teams like the Jets and the Raiders and the Texans. And not that the Texans are in that conversation and category as the Commanders would be, but they've played down to the level of their competition, so to speak. So not surprising that this game was close. I think a lot of Commanders fans who are observant and watch the entire league expected this game to be close. That said, it didn't matter who the opponent was when Joe Witt Jr. was calling this defense. We gave Michael Penix Jr. and Atlanta Falcons their career day of this season. They hadn't scored 30 before, and they haven't scored 30 since that game, right? So to say that, oh, well, it was the Dolphins over in Madrid, or oh, it's just the Broncos, I don't care, because Dan Quinn is working with less talent than Joe Witt was, because this defense is even more banged up than it was when he took over. And this defense is playing better. And we could talk about all the reasons why. DQ gave us a list of reasons today at his press conference. But ultimately, I want your opinion of this defense, what you've seen. Is Mike Samer still really a boundary corner? Are we doing this?
I'm sorry, that was funny. I mean, it's not funny. It's just the question. Do we know? I don't know. Oh, that has been like, that is probably the biggest question on maybe everybody's sheet. What happened to Mikey Sarris? Like, just the conversation. Where are you going to put him? Where does he go? What does he do?
It's just amazing.
It is amazing.
I don't want to admit that he's a boundary corner, but it's starting to feel like Mike Samer still is a boundary corner in the NFL.
I mean, it's not funny, person. It's just like, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, why do we have to go through all of this with one person figure out what is it?
Yeah.
But I'm so glad you brought up that Atlanta game because I think you're probably one of the few people that understood why I was so in my borderline of journalism and what's happening here. Like at my I'm crossing lines here. Because that was the game I was like somebody got to say something. You got to go talk to your boy. You got to go and talk to the defensive coordinator.
Yep. I remember.
Remember I said it. I said I was with the defense. It was the Atlanta Falcons game.
Yeah.
And I think so to your point, one of the reasons why I had this was going to be a good matchup. Yeah. Even at full strength, this was going to be a good matchup for the Commanders, right? After the bye and all that good stuff. But the other coordinator, they would have got blown out.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially with less bodies.
Yeah.
Right. For sure. There is a difference. I'm going to go back to a point earlier. Hey, this is just the effort is there just because it's DQ. I really do think that because over time, if you feel like somebody's not putting you in a position to succeed,
you stop believing.
You stop believing, whether or not you're going to say it out loud or not. I can say it, just based on what I'm watching, right?
Right. I agree with that.
And you see a complete difference in Madrid. So that same difference Sunday night. Not only that, it's something else that we discussed, and that was knowing your personnel, knowing your personnel as it maps to the opposing team's personnel, and understanding those matchups. There are going to be times where you get outsmarted and vice versa.
Right.
Because listen, there were certain looks. Let's all just go ahead and get it out now. There's certain look on Bobby Wagner and Sean Payton had been looking for that all night.
All night, yo, I'm gonna get him matched up on Evan Ingram 1-on-1. I'm gonna get it.
They were outsmarting each other. I could see it. I was like, come on, DQ, because he knows the strengths and the weaknesses of his personnel, as well as the opponent's personnel. That's how you game plan. That is how you scheme. That's what you do. It can't just be same thing every week.
Right.
Just all the time. Everything that's on film. So I like the strategy in it. I like that's the mad scientist in it. I feel like, but also being able as much as you possibly can to be creative, so to speak, in how you're using your personnel in terms of in these last two games. I feel like I recognize that Frankie Louie. I recognize that Frankie Louie. I see him again. I didn't know who the other Frankie was. I wasn't real sure what was going on there. Right? Because the pass rush is on the IR. So it's hard to replicate. It's difficult. Now, did you see some things that was kind of like, the youth versus not so youthful anymore?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's always going to be there.
Yes. And it's just, that's right. Because at this point, you're seeing those players have to take way more snaps than they would have if the team was perfectly healthy. Right. Did not see as many missed tackles. They had him. They had him. Now, Will Harris was back. I saw folks talking about, Will Harris is getting smoked. No, what? Cortland Sutton made a play. Bo Nix made a play. Can't expect people not to make plays. Right. But I want to say that I think one of the reasons why the communication was better was because
Will Harris.
It's Will. It's him, for sure. And you went back to the point about Madrid. Yes, Quan. took less reps. That's what we call it. We don't say it out, call him get benched. He took less reps. He missed that tackle on Jalen Waddle.
Waddle, yep.
He missed that tackle, and Coach Quinn said, "And you're out," and kept it moving. So yeah, Will Harris, again, another commander, another person who, I don't know if y'all can see it on TV. Super nice guy, super poised, all the things, but out there, goon, extreme goon. Okay. The coaches over there, they wanted all kinds of unsportsmanlike conduct. They were yelling. They wanted Will to get off that thing. They were sick of Will. And I'm like, Will is like really talking a lot of junk to these people. Is anybody saying it? And then I had Lake look over there. Look at this. I was like, watching, you gotta wait. And then it was like, wait, look at Will, look at him. I was like, why is he bothering these people?
Hey, Will, he had a lot of pent-up energy for a long time, man.
Yeah, I was like,
he was waiting.
Not wait.
Mm-hmm.
I said he could not wait to get back out there.
Right.
And he was very, very happy. So you see the difference for sure. Absolutely see the difference for sure. And with him there, and with Dan Quinn calling the plays, and just being prepared. It's the overall preparedness as well. I still don't like how it seems like the opposing team's offense can get down the field pretty quickly. That's still a little.
You talking about overtime?
Well, yeah, that happened in overtime. It absolutely did.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I mean, if y'all was tired, you could just say that. But that's still not good.
Right. Yeah, there was no resistance in overtime. But
it was like they
said, look, we got y'all here.
We got you. We did the best
we did it. Yeah, right. We did everything we could to get y'all to this point. We ain't got nothing left for you though.
You have nothing
y'all won't win. Y'all gonna have to do it yourself.
You gotta do it yourself. And so I definitely felt early on, like the offense has to score. Like they gotta score. You already know this defense ain't gonna do so much. And so they got him there. Yeah. They kept them in the game.
That's right. And they got a big stop on that third down. Yes. That was a really good play by DQ, dropping Jacob Martin into that hook zone right over the middle of the field and making it a tough throw for Bo Nix. Because I got on DQ about that 3-man rush. It was like 3rd and 21.
Yes.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Rushing 3, dropping 8. Now you got Cortland Sutton wide open down the sideline. What are you doing, man?
It's only 3. Yeah, Lake talked about that a lot. Lake talked about that a lot in the press box. And I was just like, DQ far from perfect now. Let me be clear.
Of course. I mean, look, like you said, sometimes you get outsmarted. Sometimes you outsmart yourself.
Exactly. Because, hey, he was keeping Bobby protected. I was like, Sean Payton is going to find this because I'm familiar with Sean Payton. Of course, Dan Quinn is. But I too have gotten familiar with Sean Payton over the years. And he's an interesting individual. And so,
to say the least, that's a very nice way of putting that.
So I'm like, now I know we don't really get into this. I just want to go back to Dan Quinn. I would like to say out loud, and I had to make myself laugh here. I said, "Oh, Hard Knocks would have got a full episode if I was Dan Quinn." I'm not like me for real. Being a head coach during that game, I don't know how he stayed so calm through some of those calls and just some of the stuff that was happening.
Oh man, yeah, that was a really poorly officiated.
It would have been just the headset, everything. Just throw it. Oh, it would have been a mess. But he shows some calm and just some stuff that I'm like, wow.
That's one thing I can say about DQ is that he sets a great example for his team as to how to conduct yourself. Because even when he's upset, like, how many, I've been a fan my entire life. I've watched endless press conferences. I've seen coaches fly off the handle when they're upset and cannot control their emotions. All it takes is the wrong question, right? After a tough loss, or after a bad call or something that has transpired in a game that just sucks, to send them flying off the handle. We saw Ron lose his cool, several times in press conferences over the years when he, something didn't go right in the game and someone questions him and then he snaps, right?
Yeah.
DQ always keeps his cool. No matter what the situation, no matter, you can tell when he's pissed off. And he'll tell you, I'm really pissed off, but he'll never take it out on anyone. He answers every question. He makes sure if you've got a question, we'll get through everyone's questions. Like, he's not looking to get up at the first sight of a chance to get out of there. He handles everything with the class and the dignity that you want your head coach to handle situations. Like, there's a time to be pissed off and, snapping and going crazy, but there's also a time to keep your cool. And he seems to be able to walk that fine line and that balance of, just being like, you see why people love DQ, basically.
Absolutely.
You see.
Absolutely. And now, I've seen a lot of, I guess we see everything now, right? We, calling for the man to be fired and this, that, and the third. And it's like, no. Too many people love being around that man and playing for him. Us included, media included. You know what I mean? Like, he's fantastic. And everything you just said, exactly right.
Yeah. He treats people with such respect.
Yes.
And dignity, and he makes you feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's infectious. People want to be around that. And I think you're seeing that this team really cares, respects, wants to play for Dan Quinn, because they could have quit. This team could have absolutely mailed it in this season. And look, when you see that stretch they went through of 4 straight losses by 21 points or more, and it was funny. He said something. He wasn't trying to be funny, but it was funny. He's like, after the Dolphins game, I think it was the Monday after the Dolphins game, he had his press conference. He was like, we led for the first time in what felt like, over 2 months. You know what I mean? Like, he was being serious. Like, they hadn't led in a game since the Chicago game. That was week 5. I thought it was week 6. Excuse me. It was week 6.
Yeah.
The Dolphins game was week 12. We hadn't led in a game since week. I take that back. We led against, after Daron Payne's safety.
Oh,
we
in
scored
Dallas.
a touchdown in Dallas. We were up 9-8, something like that.
8-7, something like
8-7. It was 8-7 because we went for 2 and we didn't get it. So it was the safety, 6 points, and then we went for 2. We didn't get it. It was 8-7. That's the last time we led in a game, right? So, like, we hadn't led in over a month. He was not, being facetious. He was serious, but it was funny because it's like, that's how bad we had been. You know what I mean? And for him to remain through all of that, DQ, he never changed. He's still DQ. You know what I mean? People, that resonates with people.
He's been the same. They've all been the same. You can see his face in some, after some games and be like,
oh yeah, you can see his face.
For sure. But like, other than that, like, okay, that's right after the game. By the time, Monday presser, Wednesday practice, Wednesday locker room, all of that, everybody's right back to the same.
Yeah.
Right back.
And that's a reflection of the head coach.
Yes, it's they've taken. Yep. And going back to who they seek in terms of free agency, like the vets they bring into the room and all of the things, like, they're all very disciplined in that way.
Yeah.
I can name moments where I've seen Zach Ertz get a little emotional, right? Or, where I've seen, Bobby Wagner. I have not seen Von Miller get emotional yet, but I've known, you know what I mean? He just got here, sort of, where I've seen Laramie get. Y'all saw a little bit of a Laramie emotional the other day. You're not just gonna push my teammate. Get out of here.
Right. He pushed the hell out of Nick Bonito.
Yeah, like a rag doll. He took it bad.
I was shocked he didn't get the penalty.
Right. But it's like, you're not, Come on now. And so it's a thing. That discipline part of it, being able to like be Marcus, right? I mean, we're seeing him recently look more emotional, but by the time he gets to us, he's got it together and they're very poised and they're calm and all the things and they're great. They're manly. They're nice. Still very nice.
Let me ask you this. Is Zach Ertz back next year?
I don't know. I mean, Zach always is like, I play forever. And I believe that he will. He would. He would just be like, as long as Jaden, Marcus, those two, and Dan Quinn, those three people will make people want to stay forever. I mean,
And Cliff is his boy. He's already said he wants to finish. Wherever Cliff is, that's where he wants to finish.
Cliff goes, he wants to go, and they're all like really happy with one another and here, even despite the record. Like nobody's like, let me get out of here.
I know a lot of fans do not want Zach Ertz back yet next year because
he had a phenomenal game Sunday night.
He did. And I think it was a reminder to those who want him gone, and they still do. It's not going to change how they feel, but it's a reminder because I think some we talked about this probably right before the season started when you came on. I think we were heading into week 1. And it might have been, I think that's when we talked about it, where a portion of the fan base had turned on Terry McLaurin. Like they blamed him for the holdout. He was being greedy. And, that was before he even got injured, right? Then he gets injured, and then the season starts to spiral, and there was so much vitriol going his way. And what got lost in that to me was the impact of Terry McLaurin. Like, let's not forget what he represents, what he is, what he means to this team. Forget about on the field, what he means to this team off the field, like in the locker room, like what he represents. When you talk about the commander standard and the commander tag and all of that stuff, you're talking about guys like Terry McLaurin. You're talking about guys like Jeremy Reeves. You're talking about that type of player that they truly respect in that locker room. And that's why it was so tough for some of us to understand why it took so long for it to get done. But in saying all of that, I think a lot of fans lost sight of Terry's impact on the field and how dominant he can be and how he can change the entire complexity of this offense. And I think sometimes what gets lost in that is guys like Zach Ertz get hurt by not having Terry out there. Other guys, because now the focal point of the offense is Zach Ertz. So now Zach can't be Zach. He's got to be Zach at 24 years old. Well, he can't be that anymore.
Not going to be that. That's right.
So you get Terry back out there now. You got Deebo out there. And all of a sudden, Zach Ertz, I don't think that's an accident that now all of a sudden Zach Ertz has 10 catches over 100 yards and he should have had a touchdown, but has this remarkable game, another big 4th down conversion, etc. Because he's allowed to be Zach Ertz. I think a lot of people want to see Ben Sinnott. And for the life of me, I can't understand why we're throwing tight end screens to Zach Ertz and not to Ben Sinnott. Colson Yankoff had a catch in this game, and Ben Sinnott didn't even have a target.
I think
he missed a block. He missed the block.
You're answering your own question.
This is crazy. So the real question is, did he miss on Ben Sinnott? Because you can't keep telling me that Zach Ertz is too good to take off the field. I watched Sean McVay throw the football to 4 different tight ends every week. Every week.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that you can't throw that same tight end screen to Ben Sinnott.
We'll see in these last couple of weeks. Because that would be
the last time you said this to me, Candi. You were foreshadowing. You said, "Hey, look, I'm not gonna say anything, but ... And then like 2 seconds later, the man wasn't here anymore, or the player got benched. I'm not saying. So are you trying to tell us something again, Candy? Because it sounds like without saying you trying to say something. You like, I'm telling you, you like, look, if he can't get on the field, there's a reason he can't get on the field. You said this about another player.
And I was so yeah, like I want to see him do well too. Like he should. I mean, he needs to. His other draft class is trying to, you know what I mean? They're trying if they're not on IR, but those aren't the names. You know, his name hasn't popped up as one of those of the younger guys that.
It never pops up.
Yeah, hey.
It never pops up. And every time we ask, he tells us about him blocking or something. We know he can block. That's cool. You didn't draft a second round tight end to block. We don't draft second round blocking tight ends. That's not what we do in the NFL.
Yeah. I'm really like just saying against give it to Zach. I mean, because it's just so like Zach's over there. I mean, and coach has been asked about that a lot. Mitch Tischler has asked, JP asked the other day.
They're pressing him. I like that the media is pressing him on playing the young guys. They're not letting up. Every week they ask him. Every week they press him on Johnny Newton. Every week they press him on Ben Sinnott and these younger guys that we need to see. Like, and he throws a TJ Mag. Like, I was shocked. TJ Mag is in the game in the fourth quarter, critical possession, 59. Every fan was like, 50, 59?
Yeah, TJ Mag is TJ.
TJ Mag out there? Well, I thought it was Drake Jackson at first. Because I'm like, but we haven't seen Drake Jackson all night. So there's no way all of a sudden Drake Jackson's just going to show up.
Jonathan Allen. It's a joke because he wears 93.
He wears 93.
He wears 93.
And is he all right? Because he was on the injury report today. Should I be nervous?
Yeah.
Golly.
Yup.
Thank you for clearing that up. Because I said to the viewers today.
I don't even have, because of the record, I don't even have nothing savvy. I don't even have a riddle for you on that one, Louie.
I literally, Candy, said to them, this ain't even an injury this man was out with. You're on the 21-day window. You should be practicing in full every day. And he missed practice with a knee/groin today. And I'm like,
and you got to remember, because I asked about him because I was like, this is flying under the radar. So I asked about him last week because he was within his 21-day window. He was in Madrid.
Yep.
Right? So I'm like, it's been a bye. There's been a bye week.
That's right.
And this still kind of counts.
That's right.
People are still conditioning. They're still working out. They still,
That's right.
And so I'm like, let me bring this up. Because everybody want to act like they don't. And I was the only one who went over there and got footage of him. I need to see what's happening here. What is happening? And he was full that day. Okay. He's full. But he went from full to limited. And I said, he won't be playing on Sunday. And remember Coach Quinn, in my question, Coach Quinn shared, he said, this is a big week for him to see where he's at.
Yep.
So I think we all know.
Lord have mercy.
I think we know.
And he's one of those ones we really want to see. Like, is he another Traylon Burks where we stole a guy that has a ton of talent that a team gave up on for various reasons, whatever the reasons were, and we just got a diamond in the rough, so to speak. And I get it. You can't miss something you never had, but boy, we would like to see this dude and get some sort of sample size on him. And he feels like the new Noah Brown now in terms of, is he ever going to get back on the field?
But it's even a little harder to me than Noah because we haven't seen him at all.
Right.
Like, we just have no idea what's there. We don't. Like, I can't even tell you what's there. I don't know. We don't know.
Right. And I guess theoretically speaking, if he doesn't play this season, it doesn't hurt you to bring him back on the 90-man roster next year and just give him more time in the offseason to get healthy and see what he can do, next year, through OTAs, etc., and see if he can actually still play. But you just want to see, you know what I mean? Like, what is he? Can he actually help you in an NFL game? And it's getting late early for him. It's getting late early.
And like Coach said, he hasn't played in a while. He has not played in a while, so I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. And so I was hoping that was all I needed to know when he went from full to limited.
Yeah,
he's limited again. I was like, okay, he's not playing on Sunday night. That's all right.
Yeah.
And that would be somebody you would want to see. But I think the injuries, that's a pretty, meaty injury there. And so that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But going back to TJ Mag, because his last name, I don't know how to
pronounce. We just go TJ Mag. We don't even play those games.
The younger guys are out there. They are starting to be out there. They are. It's just, they still,
Yeah, I felt like he was throwing us a bone with that one. Like,
well, you have to remember it was he was elevated and Jalen Holmes was
deactivated. That's right.
Yeah.
And I was shocked because I definitely didn't expect an international pathway program player to get an opportunity. And again, it's one thing for him to be on the field on special teams, running down there, etc., or in the game in the second quarter on a possession. He was in the game in the fourth quarter on that final possession where they needed to stop to get the ball back to try and tie or win the game. And I'm like, are you serious right now? I mean, that was supreme confidence in a guy. He made a tackle too. Hey, how about that? He made a tackle. It was crazy.
It's been interesting. Yeah.
Big question for you though. This is a big question. This has been a hot topic all week, and shout out to Ben Stanek for asking the question. Do you believe that Dan Quinn will be this team's defensive play caller moving forward into next season, or will he hire someone to come and take his place?
He'll do it.
You think he's going to do it?
Absolutely. And because he should have done it in the first place. In my opinion, he should have been doing it in the first place. Like, listen, I'm all about opportunities. Trust me, I'm all about it. But hey, listen, sometimes whomever is the best person for the job. And if it is you, it's just going to have to be you.
That's right.
And it is what it is. It just is what it is. I think he should have, I think that it could have been the same setup. He could have still brought Joe Witt Jr. with him.
Yeah.
And Coach Quinn could have still been the primary play caller. There's a huge difference here. It is a huge difference with less personnel, with less. It is a huge difference.
It is. I agree.
Okay. And to your point earlier, so what could this have been with a healthier defensive roster, more healthy defensive roster? And so I think it would be him. I think it needs to be him. And I'm gonna tell you why, because this is just my speculation and from my observation. I don't know if Coach Quinn really knows what he wants out of that role yet.
Yeah. I think I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what he thinks. It's like, I think, I love the commander standard. Let me be clear. I love the whole framework, the thought of it, right? Because that was one of my questions of, now that you face some adversity, what does that tell you about what else you need to see from the commander standard? Because, hey, listen, it's always good when it's good.
Right.
What is it like when it's bad? I need to see what you like when you get when you're mad and sad. I know how you are when you're happy and when everything is on the up and up. How are you when the chips fall? When things aren't going well, I need to know who you are. Right? And I need to know how you approach it. And the league is changing every single week. I'm seeing different stuff all the time. I'm sure you are too. Seeing different things all of the time. Some things similar, some things different.
Right.
And you just have to. It's like whether it's offense or defense. What the defense did in the preparation, the way the defense was prepared, right, or even the aggression of the offense in the end. All games, 60 minutes. That is your persona. That's who you need to be.
Yep.
There's no need to wait a series to fill people out. No, let them roll them, run them, go. And I think he needs to figure out what he even wants out of that.
I think,
he's one of the top defensive coordinators actually in the league. So why would you give up that spot? Truth be told,
I think
it's hard.
He was nervous about, because he came into the position, and I think he said this on, you can correct me if I'm wrong, multiple occasions, that he just really wanted to oversee everything. He wanted to delegate. He really didn't want the responsibility of calling plays initially. And I think that's why he gave Joe Witt Jr. so much room for failure, because he really wanted it to work for him. He didn't want to have to do this. But I think, one, to your point, he doesn't really know exactly what he wants out of this. Obviously, he wants success, but he doesn't know what that looks like.
What does it look like? Right.
And then two, I think he realizes, I miss calling plays. I actually enjoy calling plays. Like something I really like doing. And the thing that I thought would kind of steer him in the opposite direction is all of the work that it entails on a weekly basis. And he talked about that today. Like, I don't love the Monday through Saturday portion of this preparing. Boy, do I love it on Sundays, though. Man, do I love calling plays. This is my favorite thing to do, right?
I can see it. I can see it.
And he enjoys this. He gets energy. Like, he feeds off the energy of his players. And he talked about today, like, I don't get energy from calling plays. I get energy from my players.
Yep.
I feed off the energy of the players. But you call a hell of a play and they go and it bring it to life. That's energy, right? So I think, like, because I would always see DQ Dallas, right? Or Dallas DQ, rather, excuse me, in that press box. You know, another Deron Bland pick six and DQ's just going nuts, right? And you want that energy. And I feel like he can produce that with his play calling.
Yep.
And I was thinking that there's no way he's promoting anybody from within, because if he was going to do that, he would have did it already. He bypassed that step because there's no one in the building that he trusts to be the defensive coordinator. Because literally, you as a head coach taking over the play calling is usually a last resort. You don't go straight to that. If things aren't working and you have to take over as the play caller, it usually means we've exhausted all options. So we're not there with DQ, though. He didn't have to take over play calling. He chose to do this because the ship was sinking. And if it's going to sink, it's going to happen on my watch. If, like, you got to go back to when he first got the job. He kept saying, if I got another chance, if I got another chance, if I got another chance, meaning if I fail, it's going to be on me. I'm not going to let somebody else get me fired. So if this defense, because I keep saying this, you can't be a head coach in this league, because generally coaches in this league are hired based off of what they were able to do on one side of the ball or the other, excluding special teams coordinators. They're rare to be hired like a John Harbaugh, but in the event that, but his special teams is tight, right? Because John Harbaugh at his core is a special teams coach. So his special teams is tight every year, right? Sean McVay's offense, Kyle Shanahan's offense is tight every year. Because if you're going to be a guru on one side of the ball, that's the one side on your football team that got to be tight.
Got to be.
You can't be a defensive, like you can say what you want about Robert Saleh when he was with the Jets. The defense was good every year. You can say what you want about Vic Fangio when he was the head coach in Denver. They couldn't score to save their life. They couldn't find a quarterback, but that defense was good every year. If you are what you say you are, which DQ is supposed to be one of the best defense, then this defense can't be awful. It was awful last year, and until he took over, it was awful again this year. What does that say about you?
Yep.
Because ain't nobody going to say, well, your defensive coordinator sucks. They're going to say, no, you are a defensive guy and your defense sucks.
Yep.
And I think he started to feel that, and he was like, you know what? I got it. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Because y'all going to mess around and get me fired. Because the fastest way, I believe, to a coach getting fired, outside of losing games, of course, that's the first prerequisite to getting fired, is your side of the ball ain't tight. You can't be an offensive coach and your offense is garbage. You can't be a defensive coach and your defense is trash.
You can't do it. You can't do it. He just needs to do it. And I get it, but he loves it. I mean, I saw it in Madrid. I saw it. Like I was told you earlier, but I saw him and Frankie. He was talking, and whatever he was saying, Frankie went right back out there the very next play and he did it. And I'm like, because see, a lot of this too is, it becomes how do people receive information? When we started like earlier about you ain't hearing nothing about miscommunication anymore. Isn't that something?
Right.
You don't hear anything about miscommunication anymore. You're not even saying it either.
Yeah.
So you have to understand how people receive communication. And sometimes you do need to be in the face of a person or talking to a person or engage with the person for them to understand what you're talking about. And the way that he teaches and the way that he coaches, it just works for this group. It just works. And he's actually very good at what he does. It's like it's better. And I mean, yes, it's more work, but hey, do you want to win or not? People, defensive coordinators still out here getting fired. Just go ask the Giants, go ask Brian Daboll, Shane Bowen. People still getting fired.
Right.
They are in fact not coaching for draft position. That's why they get fired. Like, no, this ain't it.
Yeah.
And you can see like a team like the Giants, using them when they are just melting down on the sideline. They are irate. They are mad. And I don't necessarily see that in the Commanders. But again, this goes back to the discipline and taking on kind of the persona of your head coach.
Right.
And certain things. But it's definitely he needs to do it. I think he needs to do it.
I'm with you.
If you ask me, he won't. But if he did, I'd say I don't know why you didn't do it in the first place. But I'm glad you got to this place where you realized you need to do it. I felt like you needed to do it after week 4. I told you week 4 would have been it for me. But that's from the frame of reference of you said you were going to the Super Bowl. That's what you said. Now, unless you was BSing, then you keep doing what you've been doing. But if you meant that, you got to mean it.
Yeah.
It definitely week 7. Everybody should know. My week 7 was the end of all of it for me. When I was like, "Have you considered?"
Yeah. When you asked them,
was there any moment today you thought you should call the play? Because I'm like, I know there was a moment today I thought you needed to call the play.
Yeah. You can see it coming a mile away, and you kept going back to week 4 against the Falcons. Like, this is,
and they've never had a week like that since. Meaning the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Of course not. That was so super snarky.
Look, no, but it was real though. I mean, what we talking about? Like, so fast forward to present day. Does Jaden play this week, in your opinion?
I don't think so. I mean, he was limited today.
Mm-hmm. So DQ talked today and said they're going to ramp up his reps in practice. I'm assuming Mariota's still taking the vast majority of the first team reps. Mm-hmm. They're working in Jaden, or because he made it seem last week like they were creating an extra period of practice, like at the end or something like that, to get Jaden reps with Terry and Deebo and some of those guys. But obviously, this is the NFL. And if the other quarterback is going to start, you want him to get as many reps as possible. How are they, working Jaden in? And he said he's getting more reps this week. They're trying to prepare him in the event that he gets cleared. It feels like he's about one more week away, honestly. What do you think?
I think he's a week away.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw he was limited today, I was like, let it.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah.
To end season hard knocks. Like, let's just wait.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. We'll see if he's full tomorrow. But I still think he's full for a bit. Like 2 days of full here, full all next week. That would be my.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's a big one. If he's not full by tomorrow, and I can't see him being full tomorrow, I don't think you can. Like, you don't want to rush. Okay, he got cleared for contact on Friday. Let's play him on Sunday. Yeah. It doesn't feel like he's playing this week.
They don't want to touch Jaden on top of that.
Yeah. Well, you're not. They don't touch him anyway. They don't touch any of the quarterbacks. Right. And so you can't really feel confident that he's clear for contact. He's good. Like he said, all they can do is kind of replicate it with dummies at practice and him stiff arming them and that sort of thing. But it's not the same, right? So I think he's about at least another week away from coming back. And that's what we all really want to see at this point, is Jaden back out there with Terry and Deebo and Noah Brown, if that's actually possible.
Noah was full today. When I saw him after practice, I said, Noah was full today. I could tell. I could tell by how he looked when he came in. I was like, he was full today. And then I went over and whispered, "You full practice today?" He was like, "Yeah." I was
like, "Oh." Yeah. Well, you do got to whisper that. Don't tell nobody. Shh, don't tell nobody that he was a full participant. Don't do it. Like DQ said, his optimism is at green. I said, okay. We're using colors now. We're using colors now. Like, hey, look, man.
Like DQ is still funny, or he still say, I actually had to take a meeting during this press conference, which is a whole other conversation. But like when I went, I could hear them from where I was, but I was just like in this crazy meeting, and I should be in there. But the comedy is still there. Like like nobody. It's not. It's the same. Which is kind of strange. Like they're acting the exact same way they did during the playoffs. Like they're not different at all. And that's not to say that they like partying. It's because they're just doing their job.
Yeah,
just working.
It's a good sign, like, because we've seen teams fall apart at the seams here in Washington before. We've seen teams around the league that are struggling, look like they're struggling. This team, it was bad. Like that stretch between Dallas and Detroit, it was bad, really bad. And it got to the point where we started asking asinine questions, irrational questions. Like, yo, if DQ lose 12 straight, is he gonna get fired this year? Now we started asking crazy questions, but that's how bad it had gotten, and that's why he knew he had to intervene and take over the defensive play calling, because it had gotten to a point where we started asking crazy questions. And again, the Jaden situation didn't help, because he even came back and said, that's on me. I dropped the ball on that one.
Oh, when Jaden got hurt, yes.
Yeah. And so you compound his injury with the way the team was playing, and it was like, man, when it rains, it pours.
Right.
And
it's in a blowout. Like, it wasn't like an intense battle like Sunday night. This ain't that. This is in a blowout. He gets hurt. Yeah.
Right. It was bad. And so I think they're going to be extra cautious with Jaden. So I just don't see this week being a week. But what I can see this being the week for is a win. What says Candi? This Vikings team, so let's put it in proper perspective. Commanders is tied. They are tied for the longest losing streak in the league currently at 7 games, along with the Raiders and Titans. The Vikings have a 4-game losing streak of their own right now. They're 4-8. Commanders are 3-9. So both teams struggling mightily. These were two of the better teams in the conference last year. Keep in mind, the Vikings had the 2nd best record in all of football last season. And, they've fallen on hard times, obviously. Their quarterback situation is a mess. Max Brosmer started for them last week, a rookie quarterback, and he turned it over 4 times through an egregious pick 6. JJ McCarthy's coming back from the concussion. He was a full participant in practice today. So it looks like he's trending in the right direction to be back on the field against the Commanders. But he's turned it over in every single game this season, multiple times in most of those games this season. He's struggled mightily. Obviously, they have talent with Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson at the tight end position. And they also have Jordan Addison. So they've got a ton of weapons that they can get the football to, but they're struggling at the most important position. Can the Commanders defensively do what everybody else has done to JJ McCarthy and finally snap this 7-game winning streak? Or will JJ McCarthy do what Michael Penix Jr. did to this defense, granted a different play caller, and kind of resurrect his season, have a massive day, light this defense up, and kind of further the narrative that this defense isn't good and it doesn't matter who the play caller is?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an opportunity, right? I mean, you said all the right things, all the correct things in the Vikings, and last year's head coach of the year, right?
Yep.
And Kevin O'Connell. And these two teams are very similar situations, right? Almost identical type of seasons, if you will, last year and this year. Both of them need to win real bad, really, really bad.
Really bad.
So it could actually be a very good game or a very bad one. Like, ooh, this is a bad watch. This is a bad watch. From a defense perspective, I think, I'll find out more tomorrow. But, Frankie has been dealing with this shoulder thing.
Yeah. He was was he limited today, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been dealing with
first of all, timeout. 30-second, Candi. Sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
Bobby missed practice today with a knee injury. That is significant because Bobby doesn't miss practice.
Don't miss practice.
And it wasn't one of these non-injury related veteran because he don't take those.
No.
So did he really hurt his knee?
I'm going to say yes, because Bobby doesn't not practice.
Right. That's what sent off bells and whistles and alarms for me.
That's what I was going to bring up. Like, okay, like I was going to try to ease into the Bobby thing. And I know people, but you jump right in. Like, wait a minute.
I'm sorry. Like, once you brought up, it jogged my memory. Like, oh, wait a minute. That's crazy.
And what happened is I didn't see him. I didn't see him. And
at all today?
I was in a meeting, but I'm like, Papa went out there, was he? 54. I know the linebackers, and I don't think. And then I didn't see him after either. I didn't see him during the media portion of locker room time. And that's when I was like, something ain't right. Don't like that. Something is not right. And then when the injury report came out, I said, oh. Because I didn't want to ask. Because normally when I don't see somebody, I ask. But with him, because I always see him, I was just like. Now I saw him in the locker room. He looked fine. It was no issue there. Sunday night. And, you know, he did the community event. He did a community event at Children's Hospital yesterday. But I would raise an eyebrow of caution to that for sure. Because I'm like, people got to be careful what they wish for, man.
Yeah, now you're not wrong. Because they've been asking to see other guys at linebacker.
Oh, you do? You do? Y'all didn't learn. Kenny don't say nothing. I tried to tell y'all in New England. I didn't. What was I supposed to say? And so, I mean, here I am again, like, well, be careful what you wish for. Be very careful. Very, very careful. Because that's not good at all.
At all.
Now, it could be a variety of things. Like here, and I know people are like, oh, he's slow, this, and the third. He's having an incredible season.
Yeah, he's still playing at a high level.
The
one knock on Bobby is he can't run with athletic guys out of the backfield, whether it's a running back or a tight end.
No.
Okay, we knew that already.
Yeah.
Right. All the stuff that we expect Bobby to be able to do, he's still doing.
Yeah. Tackle. Like on a team, on a defense that for some strange reason notoriously misses tackles, he does it. I mean, he got to 100 tackles, like 2 tackles in Madrid.
Yeah.
So he's still making tackles all, and he's got 2 picks on the season, which he hasn't even done 2 picks on the season since 2022.
Right.
So maybe he'll get some more. He's playing at a high level at his age. So it could be precautionary. I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
But he still was. He was still at the community event.
Right.
So that is what is making me feel like, okay, well, that's good. If it was a situation where he couldn't make it, but he is a person that does not miss practice. Right. Like during OTAs, during training camp, vet rest days, no, he does not do that at all. And those are the types of things that, and we want to share with the fan base as well. That's a big deal in his role as a linebacker, that you don't miss any practice. So he on the injury report. I remember he made a joke with me last year. I was looking at the injury report for something. I don't even remember what week it was. It was kind of later in the season. He was like, I know who not on there. I'm not on there. I'm never on the injury report. I said, be careful what you say. Like it was just a joke, but he's not. And that's been like a historic thing with him. Like he's never on the injury report.
Yeah.
So I kind of sensed that there was something going on, just being very transparent and honest. But at the end of the game, in the locker room, I saw him in the locker room. I saw him when we were all leaving. It didn't seem like anything. So I don't know. I will find out, because that would then be like, well, Commanders fan base, you get what you want. You get what you asked for.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a whole, whoa.
Yeah.
It will be a difference.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think a lot of people want to see, but you might not like you might not like the results.
No, you do not want to see. Now you might also see limited reps, which I don't think you're ready to see that either. I know what it looked like. So I don't think you want to see that. So I mean, but Frankie been dealing with the shoulder thing for a minute too. Yeah. So that's just an issue for me. Both of them being on the injury report is not. It's not good.
And Javon Kinlaw was up there too with his back. He was out today. I don't know if I'm as concerned. Yeah.
Right, because he still played. Remember, he was out all last week too.
Yeah. So I'm not as concerned with him quite yet. Hard Knocks. What was your opinion of episode 1 of Hard Knocks overall, and then with the Commanders?
I was like, oh, they gonna keep this. They gonna keep this dry, aren't they? They gonna keep this real dry, which I was interested in, right? Because if you notice, Coach Quinn made it a point to say, and welcome to NFL Films. If you like a cameo, like he made it a point to say it out loud.
At his press conference.
Keep your head on the swivel. NFL Films is here. They're here all the time. All day long. Watch how you move.
Right.
I was like, okay, and that's code for pay attention to your surroundings.
That's right.
So we'll see how good the media is in that as this time goes on. But what they captured with Coach Pritchard, I thought was very, very important and an example of the brotherhood. The fact that it was Jeremy Reeves that went up there, right? Because they're not even on the same side of the ball, right? But to Revo's point, they done seen that building in a whole lot of situations. Coach Pritchard has been here for a while, and I've had the honor of covering him since he's been here. And everything everybody says about him is facts on top of facts and true. He's been so kind to me, so good to me, so good to Bowie TV, and he's just been tremendous. It's definitely to Coach Quinn's point when he said, it's amazing for him. It's a bummer personally, but professionally, it's what I mean, because he's great. Like he's awesome, and so. But to me, that was the part that stood out, because I'm like, that's what people need to see with a struggling team right now, that they can still celebrate their brother going to get another job. And these were the kind of things that were transpiring, right? And hey, if the season were better, maybe he'd wait. He would wait to go, or he could accept it, but wait to go. But it wasn't like they didn't have a succession plan in place in Coach Blau, right? Something that we've talked about often. So I'm glad that they captured that moment. And I hope everybody that watched it paid attention to what Coach Pritchard said about DQ, what they're building, like what that building is like now. Because that was just Friday. That was just Thursday or Friday when they filmed that. So this is spoken from the mouth of a coach on a 3-win team that just went to the NFC Championship. And look at how they all celebrated him. Look at how DQ celebrated him. Right? And look at what he had to say about that building. So anybody calling for DQ's head, it's not that opinion isn't it's not even emotionally driven. I don't know what it is. It's just ill-informed. It's ill-informed. Because there's been some bad stuff that come through that building, and Dan Quinn is not one of them.
Yeah. I thought the Tavita send-off was dope. And like you said, there aren't many coaches in that building that were able to withstand the regime change. He was one of the few that they saw, like a guy that they said, hey, you can stay. If you want to stay, you can stay because we value you. And you got to give a lot of credit. Something else that I felt like earlier, I said that the offensive line is one of, if they continue to play the way that they played Sunday night, they're one of the linchpins. They're one of the building blocks and foundations that you can take into the offseason and say, hey, we're building around this. We have this, and now let's build around it. Quarterback is the other position. A healthy Jaden Daniels, you bring back Marcus Mariota to go along with that offensive line, is another position group going into the offseason that you say, these are building blocks. Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota are a top 2 tandem at quarterback in the league. You're not going to find very many backups that are better than Marcus Mariota, and you're not going to find very many starting quarterbacks when healthy that are better than Jaden Daniels, and you put the two together, and it's just a really good group. And Tavita Pritchard is a part of that. He helped cultivate that room and help build Jaden and mold him into what he ended up being. And so I think he deserves a lot of credit for what we've seen from Jaden in his rookie season, from Marcus last year and this year, because I've seen, quarterback rooms that, I mean, if you saw Kirk Cousins and Robert Griffin III, and obviously it's a little bit of a different dynamic when you've got 2 younger quarterbacks competing, but I've seen quarterback rooms that have just been horrible in terms of the camaraderie within that room. And this was the polar opposite. Like,
yeah.
And again, I think you have to give a lot of credit to Vita and to David Blau and those guys for just even the little things like the games that they play, right? Throwing the ball into the net and all, like they fostered that environment. They made that room feel like a family. And I'm happy for Tavita, man. I'm gonna be rooting for Stanford, except for when they play Notre Dame. Like I hope he turns that program around, man, because they need some help in Palo Alto right now. They're struggling, but good for Tavita, man, and I hope he crushes it. And like you said, this is the succession plan. Like David Blau was being groomed. This is why they didn't let him go interview in Jacksonville, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So, like y'all, you can't go anywhere because you already know.
Right. Yep.
Is so you can't.
Yep.
So he said that still be, he said his kids was like, we still gonna watch the Commanders, right? He's like, yeah, we still watch the Commanders. So I hope if nothing else, everybody can take back. Yes, the record is what it is, but the culture being what it is still gonna be a win every day in my book. Like for real, because that was a moment that needed to be captured in that building because of all the beef and issues we've heard about coaches and players and all that over the years. It's just not like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. And that is because of Dan Quinn.
Yep.
And Tavita basically said that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Now, I will tell you, I saw Tavita on Friday and I was not aware. And he was like, hey, Katie, I was laughing and joking with them. I'm like, oh, people were looking for you. And so I'm like telling him who was looking for him. I was like, as soon as I left, I got down the street from the facility and found out. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. If I would have known that, I would not have been cheering.
Yes, you would have.
I would have been like,
where you going?
I would have been cheering. Yeah, I'd have been happy for her, but I would have been
going. You probably would have hit him with one of them. You can't leave.
Right. Like, where are you going? Like, I was like, okay, Tavita didn't hear my speech from last year. Where are you going? Give me your phone. Give me your phone.
Right. Give me your phone. Come on. Hand it over.
Which phone? Whichever phone the people are calling you on.
Right.
Take it away.
That's right.
Give me that.
Hand that one over.
Smash it on the ground. And so but I'm anxious to see how the rest of this goes. I'm really anxious to see how the rest of this goes from a Commander's perspective, because I'm like, what they keep it calm and poised, so we gonna see.
And he talked about
a whole lot. They didn't get a whole lot, and I'm like, I don't think they're giving them a whole lot either.
Yeah, he talked about divvying up the responsibility. So we'll see, with Brian Johnson and all of that, how that goes. And whether they promote from within or if they go get somebody to fill that, assistant quarterbacks coach. Because I think the David Blau promotion is going to be permanent next offseason. I think they elevate him to the official title of quarterbacks coach, and that's his room moving forward. And so they're going to have to, I would assume, find someone else to be the assistant quarterbacks coach if they, want to continue to have that be a role within their building. So what do you think happens this weekend against Minnesota? And then we'll get to the comment section. You think they win, or
I think they got a strong chance to win. I think they do. The defense is where I'm concerned. I don't know what that is right now.
Yeah, it should be like, just because they've played better doesn't mean the defense is magically fixed.
No,
right? Like, you still have to, and not to mention, Minnesota's still really good on defense. Like, you can say what you want about their offense.
Yeah,
their defense is still good. Like, they went to Seattle, they didn't score a single point, but they made Sam Darnold look like he was still seeing ghosts. Right?
Yeah,
he did not play well.
He didn't play well at all against
them. And like, their defense could easily rattle Marcus Mariota's cage, force him to turn it over twice, and all of a sudden you go to Minnesota and you lose, 24-13. That could happen, right? Anything could happen with this team.
I'm definitely, we're to that point, and where fans have been saying we need to see what we got for next year. You saw that Sunday night. This is the start of what this needs to look like. What I'm hoping for, Louie, is you take last year, you take this year, and you really understand and refine what the commander standard is, right? Because you know what the highest of the high feels like, you know what the lowest of the low feels like already. And you start to build from that, because you really never know what your relationship is until you go through some stuff.
Right.
So now you done been through some stuff. And coach basically said that the other day. You got to go through some, you got hey. And now you should be able to know what it is. But I feel like that aggressiveness on, just on offense is part of who they are. That was what they did last year.
Right.
And it's got to be a part of your swag. It's got to be a part of your standard and how you bring it each and every single time. That we didn't really talk about special teams, like the units. I knew that the Broncos had a really good special teams unit, as does, the Commanders, but they wouldn't let Jalen Lane go nowhere. I was like,
no,
son, when you get,
I blame Antonio Hamilton for that, man. He was getting cooked over there. That dude was, I think his name was Skinner. He was giving him work. He kept running right past him and getting down there. I'm like, come on, just give him some. And he had space on that return if he would have just blocked over there, but
nope.
He wasn't having that.
Yeah, it wasn't. So they're a very good unit, but it's like, but the overall, the special teams unit, other than the kicking, has still been solid.
That's right.
Overall, Tressway still doing what he does.
Right.
So that's fantastic. But it's like, offensively, you still got to have that. This is how we roll. Like, this is how we move. Yep. At all times, from and you build the type of players you need, or what you need to see, based on that. I think a building block, and just like going into, starting from Sunday night, and then coming into Minnesota, that offensive line, keep doing that.
Yeah. That's one of those things you want to continue to see happen. Yeah.
Yes, keep doing that. And I'm still going to hope they use the run a little bit more. Make them stop it.
Yeah.
And if they start stopping it, just load them up.
You said something. You said something earlier. I want to go back to real quick. Something happened to Bill?
No, I saw Bill today. What you mean?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought you
mean, okay. No, nothing happened to Bill.
Okay.
Right.
I want them to play him more. I like C-Rod. I like J-Mac. I just want them to play Bill more.
Here's always been my challenge with Bill is fantastic, but remember, I would never say like, "Oh, Bill is the number one." I would be,
Yep.
and I
No,
think
you
I said it. I would be like,
even when
no.
we was trying to push it on you, you was like, nah,
I was like, no,
I can't do it.
he's not. No, and I think he's fantastic, but like, no. I think it's almost like it's just. If you have running back by committee, you do what works for the opponent. Who got the? It's almost like the hot hand or whatever the case may be. C-Rod has been hot. J-Mac can break a tackle like nobody's business. But I still feel like with including of Bill, they don't spread it around enough, and they don't. I just don't see enough of the run in the second half.
Yeah, I was disappointed because I felt like Bill was playing well, just like C-Rod was. And I just felt like he just didn't get enough opportunities. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him get more opportunities.
Now, definitely, yes, for Sunday night, but in Madrid, regarding C-Rod, I remember like, is C-Rod hurt in the second half? And I'm like, no, I can tell he's not hurt at all. He's on the sideline with his helmet on, and I can tell he is itching to get back in this game. And he doesn't. I don't know what that was about. But I want to see the continued building up of the growth, or just the swag. Just Terry back, Terry's still out there, right? Really get it going. Like give them the business from the door, because I still feel very strongly about Kansas City, that game, Miami game, and this one. The offense has got to score. The offense, they got to score. They got to score early and often. They just have to.
Yeah.
They just have to.
There's an opportunity on Sunday, that's for sure.
It's definitely an opportunity on Sunday. I feel like for the rest of the season, just run the numbers up on these people. Have a little bit of fun and run the numbers up. Go ahead and try some things out. See what you got. See, go ahead and round out that commander standard so you can really figure out who you want to be when you grow up, and then you can build the rest of your roster according to that.
If only it were that easy, Candy.
I wish it was. Why you just don't?
Just score some points, run it up, win some games.
Get on out there, Terry. Throw it down there, Marcus. Here you go. You got multiple people to choose from now.
Yeah. You may.
You may.
You may have that this week. We'll see. He's green. We speaking in colors now. Green. We'll see. Green now. So we'll see. Jalen Dorsett, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the dub. Jalen writes, Lou, YouTube yearly statistics came out, and I'm top 5% of viewers with 225 vids watched. Truly appreciate the content, brother, and can't wait to meet the Kings in real life. Hey, we appreciate you, Jalen, man. Thank you so much for the support. Can't thank you enough. And again, I thank you guys for supporting all of the endeavors, including this one here with Candi on CWall Wednesdays. It's been tremendous this season, and I can't thank you guys enough for the support. Big shout out to you, Jalen, man. Thank you so much. The Willis Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Willis writes, Drake Jackson is the new Junior Gillette. Starting to feel that way, isn't it? I'm not putting that on that man, but
I'm not gonna put that on him.
But look, if the shoe fits, we ain't putting it on yet. We ain't even gonna try the shoe on, but it's trending in that direction. But again, we don't need to rush this man, right? Because we got him hurt. He was damaged goods when we got him. And while we would like to see him, we're 3-9, right? Like you're not. This ain't last year where you're trying to win something and we trying to get people on the field ASAP to help us win a division or Super Bowl, etc. Like, if he's not right by the time we get to the end of this season, okay, cool. If you still want to go on with this experiment, you got all off season for him to get right and see what he can be, because the ultimate goal is to see if this guy can provide us with some sort of depth. And while we would love to see some semblance of that this year in real games, because if you don't play him and if he's not healthy enough, you won't see him in an actual NFL game to be able to know what he can or can't do at this point. you're gonna have to wait all the way until August to preseason to see, and even that's not a great indicator of what you can or can't do because of who you may or may not be playing against. The bottom line is health is the most important thing for Drake Jackson. It's the reason why he got released in the first place from San Francisco. He couldn't pass a physical. So you don't want to rush him back, and then he exacerbates whatever injury he came here with pre-existing, and then you never get to see it. So as much as I want to see him, let's just see how this goes. I'm disappointed. I can't lie to you. Saw him on the injury report, saw that he missed practice, super disappointed. And in my mind now, I'm starting to think that we may not see him this season. We'll see. It could just be something temporary. You know, at some point they have to make a decision. That's a 21-day window, not a 42-day window.
That's right.
You know, so at some point,
be up like this week.
I think it's up this week.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to make a decision. And if they say, you know what, we're just gonna put him on IR for the rest of the season, because if he's not ready by the end of that 20, I don't know if they're gonna just hold a roster spot for a guy that can't actually be on the field. I don't know if they're in a position to do that with all the injuries that they currently already have. So they're gonna tell us by their actions what they feel about Drake Jackson's availability this season. If they put him on IR, that means that he's not going to be able to play the rest of the season, and they don't feel like he's going to be ready this season. If they activate him, because like Candi said, that window has to be closed because he started back in Madrid week. So it's got to be coming up.
Him and Will opened up the same time. That's why everybody was about Will, and I'm like, well, wait about Drake.
Yep.
That's why when we got back in the buy, I'm like, so Drake Jackson.
Yep. We all thought he was going to play last week.
Yep.
So we'll find out this week what's going on with him, and if they activate him, then they think he's going to be available at some point here in the very near future. If they don't, he's shipped off to IR for the season. He's done, and then we'll just have to wait till next year, right? We'll have to wait till the offseason. So that's when you can start talking that Junior Galette talk. We get to the offseason and he's still not right. At that point, you might have to cut your losses then. Good thing is low risk, high reward type of situation. They're not spending a lot of money. There's not a lot of resources tied into him. If he works out, it's similar to Traylon Burks and what's the name? Jake Moody, right? That's a third round pick in Moody, second round pick in Jackson, and a former first round pick in Traylon Burks. That's what you want, right? These are guys that were clearly talented enough to be drafted where they were. You're hoping to be able to get that out of them. So we'll see. Merle Garrett, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, they need to re-sign Bobby Wagner. You are probably in the minority, Merle, of fans when it comes to Bobby Wagner. I think a lot of people want some fresh legs at that position. Same with Zach Ertz. I think a lot of fans are like, okay, it was cool last year. You guys did an excellent job. You helped take this team to heights they hadn't seen in a long time, or for some fans ever. But now we need to see new blood in there. We need to see guys with some more athleticism. And it'll be interesting to see how Bobby feels about playing football next year. And it'd be interesting to see how the Commanders feel about bringing Bobby back. Because right now, and what would be interesting is if he didn't play this week, which I still think Bobby's going to play this week. But if somehow he didn't play, this would be your first opportunity to see what life without Bobby looks like. And you don't really know what that looks like. It's the same thing I kind of said about Deron Payne, because they have a decision to make on Deron Payne this offseason. And that suspension gave them a chance to see what life without Deron looked like. And while it wasn't terrible, it wasn't great either.
And that's why I'm like, everybody keep asking for the young guys. You're seeing them.
Yeah.
And if you're not seeing them by now,
there's a reason. There is a reason. So
there's a reason, because you got a rookie offensive tackle who's doing the daggone thing.
Yeah.
Right? You've seen rookies and second-year players play. Like that's why I'm like, who else y'all looking for? Who you looking for? Who's everybody looking for? Who's left? And at this point in the season,
Yeah.
Because you're seeing undrafted players
Get opportunities.
get opportunities
Right.
and being
Some of
successful.
it due to circumstances, but
True.
still,
But
like
yep.
if they felt like it warranted an opportunity, they've shown that they aren't afraid to give a guy an opportunity. So,
Yep.
um,
They're giving guys opportunities. Chris Paul, I mean, we're
yeah,
seeing examples every single week. It's just that, it doesn't, I don't know. You will, if Bobby does not play, you will see. Yes, absolutely, what life is like without him.
yeah.
And it's different. I don't
Oh,
think, I will tell you this, I don't think there's anybody associated on that team in that building that does not want him to play. I know, was it before the Detroit game?
you
When he
talking
didn't,
about the thumb? The thumb?
his ankle,
Oh,
the Detroit game, where it was like, oh my gosh, Bobby might not play. Like it was a thing. Because he didn't practice then either. I think he may have been like, maybe he practiced, maybe he was like limited. He didn't practice like that Wednesday. He didn't practice like that Thursday. Maybe he was limited. I don't know. Maybe he was limited all week. Maybe he was limited and then he was full on
yeah. I'm
Friday.
about to say I don't remember him missing practice. Maybe
Yeah,
he was
yeah. I think it
limited.
was
Yeah,
limited. And then
yeah,
he went right. He doesn't not practice.
yeah. It did. That's why this one jumped out to me because I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
wait, DMP,
Yeah.
DMP for Bobby?
And so yeah, because that's not even how he rolls.
Yeah,
So if he did not practice, it was for I mean, he's very responsible. Let me be clear. He's very
yeah.
responsible. So it's a good reason that he did not. But again, you got to be careful what you wish for around here. You got to be very careful
Well,
because it ain't what you think.
you go there. They might get what they asked for. So
Might
we'll see.
be just might, and
Yeah, we'll
mm,
see. We'll see.
we'll see. Maybe he'll be over there with a headset on. He got him over there, but I mean,
Yeah, he gonna play, man. Bobby don't miss no games. He gonna
I'm gonna have to get down to the bottom of some things
yeah,
tomorrow because
yeah,
I
figure
definitely
out what's going on around these parts because
because I was on a mission today, so I was doing a lot. Like I said, it was Tyler, Deebo, and Mikey by default because Deebo over there.
yeah,
And I typically always go talk to Kane, and I'm looking at if they're not playing by now, you should know why. And if they are playing, you've seen them.
yeah.
You've seen them because, like you said, it wasn't terrible without Deron, but was it like we don't need Deron anymore?
Right.
No,
Nah, absolutely
no,
not.
it doesn't scream that.
And Deron played well on Sunday night again.
He
So
did.
yeah, he played well. So they're gonna have a decision to make with him. And based off of Johnny not being like that, you might have to bring him back, man. Like, if they can find a number that makes sense, you may have to bring him back. But
Yeah, I mean, Johnny not killing it right now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and he's not injured. Remember that was the thing last year, and that's not the
yeah,
deal right
yeah, no. There's no excuse for Johnny being basic. He's like they keep trying to sell us on they're pleased with Johnny. No, you're not. Because Sheldon Day came up here and played more snaps than Johnny Newton on Sunday. Okay, you not don't patronize me. Okay,
Listen,
like
listen.
okay, don't patronize me.
You
Don't
get
play
it.
in my face like that.
This
Okay,
is why I really, really love being on your show because you get it. Because you read things like the snap count and you know what's happening. And this was after you basically had the starting position because Deron was
right.
out.
That's right. That's right. Like
So
don't.
Sheldon still made more snaps than you. You got to read in between the lines, folks. The younger guys are absolutely playing.
Yes.
They are when they're given those opportunities.
Yeah. See what you do with it, and we already see the writing on the wall with Johnny. I think they swung and they missed, and it's okay. I mean, you're not gonna hit on all of them, but it's just disappointing because that wasn't a second round pick. That was the second round pick, the first of three. That was the big one,
Yeah.
and it ain't hitting on nothing.
Right.
And there was so many talented guys that I was like, and you know what? I can't have revisionist history. Everyone told us this was a first round pick had he been healthy.
Yep.
And so it felt like we were getting a steal. And I love me a good deal. And it felt like we were getting a great deal at 34, I believe it was 34, 36, whatever the number was. But it's we got bamboozled. It feels like we got hoodwinked.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to figure from a draft pick perspective, Jaden, Mikey, Johnny, Ben Sinnott, Jordan McGee, Javante Jean Baptiste, Dominique Hampton got released.
Mm-hmm.
Javante's on IR.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else had names playing from last year.
Yeah, Luke. Don't forget Luke. He's on IR. Yeah,
he's on IR. But we know Luke got plenty of playing time. But everybody
and Brandon Coleman.
And Brandon Coleman. And we know what happened with Brandon.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody beat him out of his job. But he's still been out there. He has been active. But he got beat out of his position. So that's what I'm like. And now this year it's Josh Connolly who is remarkable, doing a great job. Trey was doing well, but he's on IR now. Right. You got Jalen Lane, right? You got Kane Madrano, who has been playing on special teams. He has been playing. You might have to get down to the bottom of that. I got down to the bottom of that. Okay. And you got Bill.
Yeah.
Everybody's seen them play this year. And if at this point you haven't, there is a very, very good reason. Because there's undrafted rookies, undrafted players, free agents that are coming in, and they're playing these guys before them.
Right. Yeah. I really like Eddie Goldman too.
I see Eddie Goldman, wide as cap, has been a steal.
Eddie has been fantastic this year, man. I hate that we wasted a good Eddie Goldman / Jacob Martin season. Like, you can't be assured that they're going to play this well next year, right?
Exactly.
Because the prevailing thought is, oh, just bring them back next year. Well, you don't know if you're going to get this health from them, this quality of play from them. Like, Jacob Martin has already set a career high in sacks. There's still 5 games left.
Yep.
He's already set a career high, and he's been very productive with way more snaps than we thought he was going to have to play coming into the season. And then Goldman has just been like immovable inside. He's been penetrating into the backfield. He's been, just a nuisance up front. He's been spectacular. I really like the value that we've gotten out of him. And so it's a shame.
And those are the things that it's like you can still tell those stories about the Eddie Goldmans, about the Jacob Martins, right? About the offensive line. You can still tell those stories and be like, they got pieces, they have people, they have things that are doing well based on the eye test and the statistics. The numbers and the eye test is telling you that. It just all didn't come together. It just didn't. It didn't all click together, right? In any game, since October the 5th in LA. But those guys are still showing up. Jacob Martin, Eddie, they are still showing up in holding it down in their position. No wasted reps for those guys. None
whatsoever. It's been really fun watching those guys, maximize their opportunities, and hopefully those guys are brought back and they play equally as well next year when this roster is actually healthy with more talent, hopefully, and their roles are more defined and able to, produce and star in that role once again. It's I'm disappointed at them not being able to play that role, but I'm also excited for them taking advantage of the opportunity that they got this season.
For sure, because Jacob Martin was with the Bears last year, and I think he had just came back from IR, the Hail Mary game. Yep, and I can tell you, even from going back and spending some time with him, just getting to know him, and then going back and like watching some of the film. No, he looks better here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Better here.
For sure.
I was like, I wasn't sure how they were going to use him. I knew, of course, because of injuries, they're using him in different places and a lot more, to your point. Yeah, they got him balling. And let's go back a notch. The season that Dorrance Armstrong was having.
Oh my gosh. Don't remind me.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Dorrance was on pace for 17 sacks this season before he got hurt. Dorrance was on pace for 17 sacks. Obviously, he was going to slow down at some point, but what if he didn't?
maybe
You know what I
not.
mean?
Right.
What if
Like
he
I didn't
didn't?
right. Exactly. Exactly.
Dorrance was playing so well, man. It's just
So well. So
I,
well.
I again another one of those. I don't think it's a coincidence that the defense took a nosedive. That Dallas game, he got hurt. Because remember, he got hurt against the Bears, but
Mhm.
he still was like in and out of the lineup. He
Yep.
still got a sack that night. He should not have played against Dallas. You will never get to change. You will never be able to change my mind. He should not have been out there, and because he didn't practice the entire week.
The whole week.
But he goes down like 3 snaps in, whatever it was, into that Dallas game, and it went downhill from there. Defensively, we couldn't stop a nosebleed
That was it. That was it.
until the Miami game. So
Where's happened to the pass rush? There's no pass rush.
there is none.
There is no pass rush because there is no pass rush.
That's right. That's exactly right.
It's literally not. It's gone.
It's gone.
Dietrich was gone. Javonte got hurt in the Falcons game. He got a torn pec because he was doing well. Javonte was really starting to blossom. Yeah. And then when Dorrance left, that was it. The pass rush was gone. And now they're just freestyling. They're just trying to make it. Yeah. Well, EQ was freestyling. I don't know what Joe Witt was doing, but but he's trying. They're trying their best. It's gone. The pass rush is on injured reserve. That's
it is. That's exactly what And
like 3 or 4 players, that's hard to replicate when you're down like 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah, it's even though Von is washed, with Dorrance out there, they were like creating all of this havoc, and Von was able to clean up. He was still good enough to clean up I called him the janitor because they would create a mess and Von would just clean it up and
he
get
just
a sack.
come and clean it up. Yeah. Yes. That's perfect. And that's what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. That was supposed to be his role. He was going to get like 7.5, 8 sacks this year just doing that. And then now that he's actually got to go create a sack by himself, he can't create it. Yeah, he can't do it.
I remember that was one thing I said in Madrid when Von got the sack in Madrid. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute! It's the Von Miller sack. They got to win the football game now. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't lose this game. Von Miller got a sack. You're supposed to go ahead and just win now."
Yeah. The funniest thing.
You got to win now. Come on, everybody. Come on, you guys can do it.
The funniest thing I saw with Von Miller this season was he got a sack against the Raiders. He did a sack dance. And then he immediately went to the sideline and put the oxygen mask on. He had to put the mask. I said, he's so old. He did a sack dance and he had to go straight for the oxygen mask. I said, Lord have mercy. What we got going on here?
But did you see in his podcast when he posted the video and he was talking about Laramie Tunsil's head?
No, I missed that.
You got to see it. And he's like laughing. He said he was like, he went over to Laramie Tunsil in the locker room and was like, man, I just wanted to give you a hug and like rub your head, man, because it's always so shiny and so nice. And just like rub your head. And then he's like, I love you, bruh. And he's like, you just always look nice, which Larry does. But like, that's the kind of vibe that even a Von Miller brings in there.
Yeah.
Even when they only have won 3 games this season. You know what I mean? Like, I love you, bro. Like, just let him rub your head. But he's a cool, I said all that to say, like, he cool. But he don't talk to us all that much. But his teammates, he be in the mix. He be in the mix with his guys.
They've done a great job of bringing in guys that are great locker room guys, but they got to bring in dudes that are dogs on the field.
Yeah,
they did the perfect thing for a down season. They brought a bunch of good team first, excellent locker room guys that are gonna be upbeat despite a down season. That's great. We need more guys that are gonna create chaos and havoc on the field. Preston Smith isn't going to do that. Von Miller at 86 years old isn't going to do that. We need like
he could.
Even,
I mean, he could have if everybody was healthy, but you can't get that now.
Yeah, I thought there were options that were available that would have been better than Von when he was available, and they chose Von. I think because of him being a good dude and them knowing that he was going to come in and assimilate himself well to the locker room. But I honestly think there were other options that could have been, better suited for this team and their needs. But ultimately, like you said, no one could have predicted all the injuries, right? So
it's that because, like I said, what we're seeing, we saw. I'm like, it's got to be the injuries, and like I said, and a few decisions that didn't get made sooner. That's what I'm gonna say. Because some things could have been done sooner, be different in my opinion. I really think that.
Without question. Club 100 TV. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Can y'all see McLaurin, Deebo, Aiyuk, and BTJ on the team? Absolutely not. 0% chance.
Who's BTJ?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh no.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Now,
if you're asking like those guys individually, yeah, we talked about McLaurin, Deebo, and Aiyuk all being on the team together. There's a possibility, but there's no way Brian Thomas Jr. ends up on this roster. 0% chance that one, Jacksonville isn't going to give him away. We don't have any draft capital for them. None. We're struggling with draft capital as is.
Right.
So
like I ain't getting rid of him.
And like if you want to win in Jacksonville, you need Brian Thomas Jr. So they aren't trading him, and we don't have the draft capital to trade for him. So no, I don't see him being here. But the other three guys, without question, there's a realistic shot of them being here. Maybe not all together, but definitely individually. McLaurin clearly is going to be here. Deebo's already here and has a chance to be back. And I think there's a real chance that Aiyuk gets released. Me and Candi talked about it earlier. There's a chance that he could end up here. And so we'll see what happens. But definitely no BTJ. I mean, and you say he kind of disappeared. Somebody say he kind of disappeared with Jacoby Myers. Parker Washington is playing very well for them. Like he's turned into a big time target for Jacksonville. And they may decide to trade him in the offseason. I'm talking about Brian Thomas Jr. We don't have the draft capital to trade for him, is what I'm telling you. That doesn't mean Jacksonville won't move him. We can't give away our first round pick. We're not in a position to do that.
No.
So like receiver would be great to add, but you're not in a position to do that when you could just find ways to figure out the receiver position and still get you an impact player like on the defensive side of the football. Or even if you wanted to go with a receiver in the draft, you get a guy with 5 years of service on a rookie contract, whereas Brian Thomas Jr. would be going into year 3, basically. And so you would be inheriting a guy that doesn't have as much rookie contract left. You could spend that first round pick on your own rookie wide receiver instead of going and getting a guy that's already been in the league. So,
man, let's see what happens with Traylon Burks.
He obviously can play, but I think you look at Burks and you're like, hey, I personally, I think right now he's a 4th option. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, I think you have Terry, you got Deebo, and then you need another guy to bridge the gap between him and then he'd be your 4th option. I'm not saying he can't be your 3rd option, but I don't know
what else he does this season.
Right. I can't say that I feel confident with him doing that right now. I don't feel good enough about what I've seen. I'm intrigued. I want to see more. Definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I'm ready to just turn over the wide receiver 3. It's too important of a position for this team. Clearly, after what we've seen this year, that 3rd receiver is so vital. Like, I think the biggest loss of this offseason, quiet as kept, you could go one or two ways, but I think it was De'Ami Brown because they don't have another vertical stretch to football field threat. And even Cliff talked about it in press conferences. Yeah, it was nice having De'Ami here stretch the field vertically. We don't have another guy. So when Terry's out of the lineup, we can't threaten anybody vertically. No one's afraid of us. They can load up the box, stop the run. They can play press man coverage because nobody can, there's no threat of somebody getting vertical. And you can say what you want about De'Ami, but there was always the threat of them just dropping back and launching it to De'Ami and him going and getting it. And I think they missed that. And that he was your third option basically last year. He turned into like a number 2 in the playoffs and down the stretch, but he was basically your third option last year. So, you know, I got to see somebody step into that role. We'll see what Traylon does the remainder of this season. But I you know, what's going to be interesting with him is when Noah comes back, assuming he's in the green. He's in the green.
And that's why I'm like, when everybody's like, we need to be building for next year. They are. They are. Because what we're just talking about, you gonna stay healthy for these last 5 games, whatever it is, or nah. Trust me, they're building, they're looking, they're figuring it out, and let's see what Traylon does. But that is a storyline to watch.
Yeah,
for sure.
You're not insinuating Noah being back though, right?
But I would say that's a storyline to watch.
He can't come back. He's not allowed to come back.
Like, you know, I think it's something to watch.
I've ridden the roller coaster that is Noah Brown, and we found out what can Brown do for you. Nothing. We're good. We can move on from this. Let's see what and so I'm interested to see because they're so excited about Noah coming back. That's cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Noah, I would be so disappointed if they brought Noah Brown back next year. I'll be disappointed.
Because I think if he gets hurt again in these last couple of games, no.
You just have to assume that he's like. You have to assume he's going to get hurt every year, though. He's never had a full season. He's never played 16 or 17 games in the NFL season. Never. You just have to assume that that's who he is at this point. And you can't run the risk like you did last year. Like you ran through stop signs and red lights last year.
Yeah.
Because receiver was one of those positions you should have done more at based off of. He didn't finish the season healthy last year. You should not have ignored that and just been like, "Oh,
it was real bad last year."
What that was a kidney. I don't want to guess, but it was like a kidney laceration or something like that.
It was real bad.
Like you can't be just assuming, "Oh, he'll be back. He'll be fine." And that wasn't even the injury that kept him out this year. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something totally different. It's always something different with him. Like they cannot go down that road again. You have to find guys that the best ability is availability. You have to find guys that you feel confident are going to be on the field or at least give you a shot. So yeah, we'll see.
I mean, anyway, they drafted a receiver in each one of the last.
Technically, yes, they have done that.
Yeah, they had. That's why I'm like, you guys, they had a receiver last year.
Jalen Lane is not a real receiver. Jalen Lane is a special teams punt returner.
Had him for that. And looks like where he's most.
That is all you should be asking Jalen Lane to do at this point. But Jalen Lane is wide receiver 6. On a real NFL roster, back into the receiver position, return punts. That's your job.
Yeah, but
now, do you spend a 4th round pick on that?
No, but
there you go.
That's why I'm like they drafted a receiver because that's why I'm like he's clearly only supposed to do teams, but at that draft pick you thought he was going to be able to do both.
That's right.
What I'm saying. They got 2 young receivers, and more than likely they'll draft another one.
Yeah. You have to. I think it is. I think if unless the scenario that we talked about earlier happens, where they bring back Deebo and somehow end up with Brandon Aiyuk. Then you can stave off adding receiver for at least one more year. Because again, I can't see Aiyuk signing here or them signing Aiyuk to anything more than a 1 year prove it deal.
No, yeah, and I think he would do it. He would absolutely do it.
So at that point, you could hold off if you bring back Deebo with that. You could hold off on receiver for 1 more year and bring Traylon Burks back. You got Luke coming back. You got Jalen Lane. That's 6 receivers right there. You're good, right?
You got plenty of people.
Yep. And then next year, the year after that, you could go after receiver if that's what you chose to do, and decided to do. But if they only bring back one, or they only bring, because I feel like it's going to be a 49ers receiver.
Mm-hmm.
It's either Kendrick Bourne, Brandon Aiyuk, Deebo back again, or it's Juwan Jennings. One of those 49er receivers is going to be.
And let's be clear, Kendrick Bourne, they did what they wanted to do. The man had a choice.
Yeah.
And he wanted to go home.
He went
home. I ain't mad at him. A lot of people.
So, Candy, I want to ask you a question. You may not be able to answer this.
Mm-hmm.
Did they offer him enough money? Because I always felt in my mind, in my heart of hearts, I felt like we were cheap there.
That's always going to be Adam Peters is a businessman.
Yes.
So he's going to do business. Is what my answer is.
And I struggle with that. In that particular situation, we were desperate, and he
was definitely here for a bit.
Yeah, so context matters. That's one of my favorite lines. Context matters. When he was here and we were looking to add him, Noah Brown was still healthy. Okay, he was not hurt yet. That whole Kendrick Bourne situation was between weeks 1 and going into week 2. So technically, we were still healthy at the receiver position, and Noah Brown played well in week 1. And so everybody's like, "Oh, we don't need Kendrick Bourne." And I was like, "Hey, hold on a minute, wait."
That was everybody's sign then to know that the wide receiver position, you need receivers.
Yeah,
you needed more receivers.
Yeah,
you needed somebody else because at that point we'd gone through the whole training camp, so you already knew.
That's right. Absolutely,
you knew that there was there was still something missing. So yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Facts. All right. Well, that's going to do it for Candy and I here on CWall Wednesdays. That was a great show. There was a lot said. There was some things that weren't said that were implied. There was a lot to take from tonight's show. And I knew this was going to be a good one because we hadn't talked in so long. And I knew there was going to be so much that we had to catch up on. And this was excellent. Shout out to everybody in the chat that held us down. Over 200 of y'all, pretty consistent throughout this whole ordeal, man. Really appreciate you guys. And as always, you can find Candy's work all over the map. The links are down in the description of this video for all of the work that Candy is associated with. But as I always ask you to do, please tell the people where they can find all of your work.
You all can follow me on X at CWall SE. Make sure, and Candi Waller on all platforms. You all, like Coach Prime says, I ain't hard to find. I'm really not hard to find. If you're in Prince George's County, Maryland, and you have not cut your cable, you can find Bowie TV on Comcast channels 190 and 1097. And make sure you are locked in following Bowie TV, subscribed on YouTube, and just on all platforms as well. And thank you so much for having me. This is fun.
Oh no, man. This is the best. You are the best. Base for Zion. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, Cliff gotta go. Philosophically, too pass happy and lacks common sense. Smash mouth run base wins with an evil defense. We too nice on D. No. So again, Zion, I bet you are an old school fan. Like, because you hear this from older fans who watch John Riggins and watch this team with the Hogs, and like there's a handful of teams that run the football in that way anymore. There's just not a lot of teams that operate in that space. And I'm going to tell you, and I've said this to you, fans, you can listen to me if you choose. You can ignore me, whatever. Our offensive line isn't built to just devour a defensive front and create a new line of scrimmage. That is not who we are. Our offensive line is more of a finesse group. They're better pass blockers than they are run blockers. I'm not saying they can't run block. I'm just telling you that you're not going to just line up and say, you can't stop this. You know what's coming, and you're going to give up 3 or 4 yards on this play because we can do that, right? That's not how how it's set up, right? Now, they can tell you, we dropping our quarterback back here to pass, and you're not going to touch him. They're capable of doing that. Mm-hmm. But the smash mouth thing, this is what I will say about Cliff. I would like to see him get Jaden and Marcus and our quarterbacks under center a little bit more. I'm not telling you got to, like, if we were, this was a percentage pie of how often they are in pistol, shotgun, and under center. It would be shotgun 90% of the time, pistol 9% of the time, and under center 1%. I'm not telling you to change the 90% shotgun or 9%. Maybe you shrink the pistol down from 9 to 6% and you make under center 4%. Or maybe you shrink the shotgun down from 90 to 85 and you add that 5% to the under center. I just think there's so much value. And we saw it against the, I think it was Seattle, when Jaden got under center and he was doing those tosses, and then they ran the boot on 4th down and threw it to John Bates. There's value in getting under center. It just gives the defense another thing that they have to account for. And then you can always run those naked boots with Jaden that you like to run on 4th downs. You can still have those types of things off of that. I feel like they can do a little bit more, but but base for Zion says indeed 1980. I told you. I could tell by your comment, like, you want to be physical. It's a different day and age.
It's different. That's what. So when I say this is built to be a high-powered offense, I mean like pass, in that way, not high scoring, high powered, get down the field. I mean, because it's all theatrics. It's like in the NBA when everybody's shooting 3-pointers. It's kind of like that. You know what I mean? That's right. That's just what it is.
Yeah, and you, like, we didn't have any issues with the way the offense was called last year. No. Look how dynamic the offense was last year. We didn't have a bunch of explosive plays necessarily, but we one time of possession, we converted. And this is what Candi was talking about and alluding to earlier about the identity of this team. When DQ said we lost the game, but we are not lost anymore. He was referring to establishing and rediscovering their identity, right? The week of practice, he said, was the best week of practice they had this season. So how we do things, the attention to detail, how they got down the field, they got in the field goal range. Marcus threw it out of bounds. We didn't get intentional grounding or anything. Like, that was a really dangerous play. Nobody asked him about this, but that's the second time we've done this year. It backfired in week 1 against the Giants. We didn't get any points out of it. They did the same thing again. They spread them out. They ran that quarterback draw. And if he doesn't get out of bounds, the game might be over.
The game was over. He had to get out. Yes.
What are they doing?
Yeah, in that moment, we all yelled, "Get out of bounds." We were all like,
and Marcus, that last dive forward got them to stop the clock, because if he was going out of bounds sideways, they would have kept winding the clock. We would not have gotten that next snap off. And they would have killed Cliff. I would have been with the pitchfork and torches. I'd have been out leading the charge.
Yeah, it was so much that, and I think that was another one of the reasons why DQ was saying that Marcus was such a warrior, because it was I could be critical, but it was so much winding down to that game that I was like, oh my gosh, like they were just, it was down to the wire, and he was having to use his mind, his brain, in the intensity of all of that, because just one small thing like that, the game is over.
Game was over, and I'm screaming like, what are you doing, Cliff? Like, bro, we did this before. It didn't work. It backfired.
Didn't work.
Boy, oh boy. Anyway, I digress. Once again, thank you so much, Candi,
You're welcome.
for doing this. This was great. And everyone absolutely loves you, as you can see in the comment section. We appreciate you so much and can't wait to do this again. Shout out to everybody for holding us down tonight. And we look forward to chopping it up with you guys next time. Until then, for Candi Waller, I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. Peace.